California, never fall in love again. Don't you know that I'll never fall in love again? Don't tell me what it's all about, 'cause I've been there and I'm glad I'm out of those chains that bind you. That is why I'm here to remind you. Okay. I guess this will take a minute. Hi, everybody. My name's Mike. This is my page, Mox News. Thanks for tuning in. It's my birthday today. Even though there's no one here, I know what to do. We'll do this. Let's see. Let's go. Ooh. They took that option away. What? What did they do now? Oh, I'll post something on YouTube. Mox News Live. Let's see. This is very odd. I have not had this happen before. We're 2 minutes into the show and no one has come to see the show. What is that about? That has not happened before. Let's see what it is that's going on with this show. Let's pull this show up and see what's happening. It says live. Oh, there's someone. Hello, someone. How are you today? I hope you're doing good. I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me and you can type, please type, yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful day in Seattle, so you know. And it's my birthday, so you know. Today, March 19th, my birthday. Got freedom. It says public. I don't know, man. What's going on with this? There is like no one here. I'm so surprised. I know what's happening. It's a beautiful day and people are out enjoying the sunshine. Is that what's going on a Tuesday afternoon? Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Hey, can you hear me? Because I've started a couple of live shows in the past and people couldn't hear me. So if you can hear me and you can respond, that would be awesome. If not, it's okay. You don't have to respond. I won't shout at you just yet. As I have in the past. And I was like, hey, thank you very much. That's nice. That's nice to know. Because in the past, I started and I got like 20 people in here and I was rambling, you know, like I do. And finally, I looked at the chat and it said, we can't hear you. Like, oh, well, maybe we should restart this then. So I'm just gonna take it easy today. It's my birthday, and I just wanted to touch bases with you guys, see if you got freedom, you know, because it's my birthday and I can do what I want. You're not the boss of me. This I can guarantee. So, how are you? I'm good. I went with a nice walk with the doggies today. They're my beautiful babies. And it's gorgeous in Seattle. Just like blue sky, not a single cloud. It feels like it's 70 degrees outside. I don't think it can be that warm. I really don't. but it really feels like it. And of course, I don't care. Dwayne, nice to see you, bro. Um, uh, I don't carry a cell phone around with me everywhere I go, so I can't just pull up the app and see what temperature it is outside. So, but it feels like it's like 70 degrees in Seattle. So nice. I hope you all are enjoying a fine day today too. I think that must be where everyone's at, right? Or maybe people don't got freedom. People think people don't got freedom, and they see the title and they're like, "No, I don't got freedom," and they just turn away from the video. You think that's what's happening? Because this is like the slowest video that I've had live forever. I mean, I played a video today for about Crimea, and there's like nobody in there. I think it must be YouTube screwing with me again, because I can't believe that 100,000 people see a link that says Mox News is live. 112,000 people. Excuse me. Don't want to count anyone out. And no one. I mean, not no one. You guys are here. Dwayne's here. Who all's here? Hey, how's it going, guys? It's my birthday today. And I got pizza. I am prepared to go for days here on this live broadcast. Okay? So you better buckle in, buckaroos. I'm in no big hurry. I don't think it's not too many not listening. Thank you, who say I am? Who say I am? Who is this is? Oh, I'm shouting. I promised I wasn't gonna shout. Take it down a notch. I think YouTube is just screwing with me. I think YouTube sends out, notifies like 1/10 of the people, or less than 1/10 of the people that I have for subscribers about videos and everything. So, screw YouTube. They're, everybody's mad at them. When YouTube started, I really liked YouTube. I really liked it when you could put what you wanted at the top of YouTube, that you could put your favorite videos of all your posts, which I had thousands of posts, so I have a lot to choose from. I'm like, yeah, I love this one, and I would change it all the time. And you could have different color schemes. You guys remember when everybody could have their own color scheme? I thought that was awesome. Why would they change that? And you remember when YouTube used to give awards for like the top video of the day and the most subscribed page for the day and all that stuff. They had a lot of different awards. Yeah, we used to get those all the time, all day long, every day, day after day. I really liked that. I thought that was awesome. That was when YouTube was awesome to me. I am whoever you say I am. Why would I say I am if I'm not whoever you say I am? I am whoever you say I am. Don't fuck with me who say I am. Tone it down, keep it nice. So anyways, my birthday today, went for a walkie with the dogs for about an hour. It feels like it's like 70 degrees outside, so it's kind of warm. And the dogs were like, dude, we need to go home. It's fucking hot out here. And I was feeling it, so we went, we did about an hour. What do I think about chat? CBD? You know what? I'm going to, in the next few days, I have a joint of bubble hash CBD. It's like, it's about 40% CBD. And I'm gonna, before I do any kind of edibles or anything for that day, I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna make a video of me smoking that joint, or at least a few puffs off of it, because I can only smoke a couple of puffs. But I've seen CBD work for people a lot. I have Sometimes I'll make brownies out of just leaves, which is mostly you just get CBD out of that. Um, and and people will tell me it's the best they've ever felt in their life after eating one of those brownies. So I've seen it work. I've seen a lot of people on video talking about it working. I don't know about, see, I want to start giving CBD to one of the dogs because one of the dogs has been getting the same cookies that I eat from the time he was 6 months old. And he's like, hey man, you got one of those cookies? But the other dog, if I try and give her one of the cookies, she's like, I'm not eating that. I know what you're trying to do. I'm not eating that. So she doesn't like the THC, clearly. She doesn't like being high. So I'm gonna start a couple. It's so beautiful outside. I'm gonna start a couple of CBD plants for her so I can make some butter that's very low THC and make some biscuits for her that she'll like. Because she's getting, they're both 10 and a half years old. They're brother and sister from the same litter. They're 10 and a half years old. We walk. And if I can get her to eat the THC. I can get her to eat it because, you put it in something good and they're not going to be like, I don't want that. They're like, so I can get her to eat it. But if she doesn't like getting high, I don't want to be forcing getting high on her, But I can tell you, I got her to eat some a couple days ago, and it really made a difference in the way she walked. She had much more of a prance than a wobble, and it was awesome to see. Fascinating, honestly. And until I get some CBD that I grow myself, because you asked what I think of it. I'm not sure about what comes in the capsules that you can order online that says it's CBD. You would think that it's very independently tested, and that's the thing, is you want to make sure that it's independently tested and all this stuff if you're buying something. And I don't know if they sell it on Amazon. I'm big on reviews, so find something that people are like, hey, I really like this stuff. That seems like a fair way to try it. But like I said, I have a joint of hash, bubble hash, CBD bubble hash. It's like 34 or 40%, something like that. And I will smoke that in the next couple days after, not on my birthday, but on a day when I haven't consumed a lot of stuff, because I eat a lot of marijuana. I get up in the morning and I eat a cookie. Hello, caller. Am I rambling?
Well, I want to talk to your ramble. I'm interested in your ramble. Your ramble interests me, and I want to talk to you about your rambling.
Oh, go for it.
I like it.
What's your name?
So, my name is Christina.
Hi, Christina. It's nice to hear from you.
Nice to hear from you, too. I heard you talking about the benefits of canine use CBD, and I wanted to talk about that.
Okay. I think that. Do you have knowledge on the subject? Personal knowledge?
I have knowledge on the subject personally with my own canine.
Right on.
And I also have knowledge of the subject because I am also a user of cannabis and all the amazing things that it does. So I wanted to talk about what I think I've seen from my dog and why I think it's important to have. I can only speak to people who live in Washington State. I can only speak to people in Washington State because I believe that our dogs also need to have THC, because I believe that when you use any cannabinoid, when you separate them, I believe that you miss out important parts of the plant. And so dogs sometimes don't do as well with high THC as they do with CBD. So getting the right ratios, it's really great.
Right. I think you're very much.
We don't have to grow our plants here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's there needs to be. I think the whole plant has something to offer.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so when we just purchase a CBD like from some company online, I think that we're missing a really beautiful part of the plant that really helps our dogs. And since we're talking about our dogs, we're talking about our dogs growing older and really embracing what we could do for our canine animals. We could change everything. Like if the government doesn't want to pass it for humans, let's just legislate to pass for our canines. Like, people love their dogs. They'll do anything for their dogs. If we know that dogs can have enjoyment of life and they can have a better lifetime with us, people all over the fucking United States would want to pass this because they would know that the dogs need THC along with CBD. They need them both. It needs to work together because their endocannabinoid system is so highly tuned when we cancel out one for another, right? Like, now we're getting into the point where there's, more than CBDs and THC, there's D8 and all these a million different kinds of cannabinoids that are being developed. And we should all be able to grow our own plants and figure that out for ourselves. Like, I think it's wonderful that people are doing it for us, but I also think that we have dogs that need help.
Yeah. And it'd be so easy to grow a plant out in the backyard that could do so much help for them.
And we know how sensitive our animals are. We have to trust. And the best way that we can trust is that we can have local farmers or grow your own. This is how we can make sure that our animals get what they need so we can help support them as seniors.
Yeah. So how is your dog doing?
My dog is 10 years old, a beautiful golden retriever, and he has been having some back issues. The right back paw is starting to have some muscle degeneration. I believe that he might have like a disc that has been compressed. And so what we're experiencing now, and it's been really hard for me, so we're going to kind of talk about what it is watching your dogs grow older, is that I think we now need to be getting a ramp to get him in the car. And that's a big emotional thing for any pet owner when they see their animal moving into another stage of life.
Yeah.
And so I've been super emotional about it. And I've been able to use this great product to help my animal feel better. And maybe the ramp is coming soon because he's losing he's losing sensation on his right leg and the muscles are starting to wither. So
yeah, I know my roommate's talking a lot about getting a ramp for the dogs too. He's been talking about it for about a year now. He's very concerned about it. It is a hard step to take. It's a very hard step to take.
It's your baby. So, when you see that next step, you're like, I'm going to figure out how to make this next step of their life be wonderful. We can do it.
Yeah.
And animals deserve that care and love.
Yeah, I think cannabis can make a big difference too for dogs. My dog, he got hit by a car when he was little, and my roommate's dog, and I've been giving him cannabis like twice a week since he was 6 months old, and he is doing great, and it's weird because I have his sister too, and they eat exactly the same things and they get the same amount of exercise, but she seems to be feeling the aging process a lot more than he is, or at least a little bit more for sure, so that's why I really want to get her on some kind, because the only difference I see between the two of them is that one of them's been getting cannabis forever and the other one really doesn't get it. So
you see a lot, when you're able to see the magic of an amazing plant.
It's always made a difference in my life, and I just think that when you think about the people who have the babies who have the seizures, and how this little drop of oil makes the seizures stop or go from 400 seizures a week to 10 seizures a week. I mean, it's like how heartless could the medical community be, the for-profit medical industrial complex be, to keep a medicine like that away from little babies for generations, lying so blatantly as to say it has no medicinal value for generations. How heartless could they possibly be that heartless? I do not understand.
The most fragile of our community
is
our children. And we should be 100% committed to our children to be healthy, to find every piece of information that they need so then they can grow individually, so then they have all these things together for them. when we withhold life-saving, changing, blossoming medicine,
Yeah.
it's an absolute crime.
I just don't understand how people can be that heartless. You know, the most educated people on the planet with taking their soapbox of authority and holding it over us and saying there's no medicinal value when they could have been helping all these little babies who have seizures for generations. And they just like turn their back on them. And it can only, the way I see it, the only reason can possibly be because of profit.
It is.
It's just
what we see time and time again. When profit is involved, when we see someone's pockets lined, the priorities change. And then they lie to us because they don't want us to realize that their priorities have changed. And this is just a classic pattern of many different things that I see going on currently. I personally am watching our personal liberties being taken away as a parent, forcing our children to do something that is not something that we feel right to do.
Yeah.
I think there's many different things that are happening for profit. And it changes the way we look at the world. And I know that's silly when I say that people might make a change for dogs, but I really honestly think that if you can't change anyone's mind, the one way you can is through their animals. And if we know that animals can have this, you know what? They probably might do it for babies, but you know what? Even then, I don't really know, because when you want to talk about like, do people do it for the babies? That's a whole nother fucking subject there, you know? I think people are more willing to do shit for their dogs than they are for babies, and especially people in our government that have problems with brown babies specifically. So I think that's who they don't want to keep around. So.
No, they don't. Look, it's not brown or white. It's just, it's all poor people. It's poor people. They despise poor people. Okay, that's what it is. They think we're nothing but ants.
You know why I believe that it's not?
Why?
This is my own little opinion. Why is because I really like medical information, and currently we know that based on and I'm going to quote the CDC's information, not like some weirdo stuff. That they know currently that Black men, there are at least 500,000 undiagnosed Black men with diabetes. Now, we also knew at one time that many people have been diagnosed with AIDS, and it took a long time for us to try to figure out how to mitigate that thing, right? But right now, we know currently the diabetes is so fucking bad, and it's taking over not only America, but also Australia and England, and we have this new fucking disease, right? Okay, so here's the most interesting thing is we know that people are dying, but we're not willing to do anything else when we know that. Why are African American men being affected more? We don't know, but we should do something about it because they're literally fucking dying. And when I see that, I start to think, how do we know? If we know it and they talked about it, they don't want to do something about it. They don't care about our health. They want
but it's not brown people. The reason a higher percentage of African Americans, because a higher percentage of African Americans live in poverty. That's why
I know,
it's all about money. It's not about color. African Americans who have money aren't dying from diabetes. I guarantee it. Right? So it's not about color. It's about money. Okay.
Well, no, it is higher in the African American population, even when they're rich. And that's the thing is we know that it's something that's actually happening in the African American population. And I believe we should actually take active role in trying to reverse it because it's actually really bad. And even the rich people are having it. It's really fucking scary. Like, no, diabetes is really bad. I'm not just telling you, it's everyone's getting it. It's not just poor people. I'm telling you, it's a fucking epidemic.
Yes.
Diabetes is a fucking epidemic.
Yeah, okay. I agree.
And do you know what would help it? Do you know why? Do you know why it's so important to have CBD and THC? Is it regulates your blood sugar. We literally could save millions of people with CBD and THC to help regulate blood sugar in all people across the United States. This is why it's so fucking important, because even this much, it can help with this because it helps pancreas regulating.
It's just everything.
And so you can literally...
It's just everything.
That's what I'm saying. So here we go back to what the thing is where they know this thing could actually help. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. What about cancer? You want to talk about Simpson oil? We can go into every single sickness that's happening.
And how can they keep it from us? And how can they look at us for generations and say, you know, that it has no medicinal values? Because this is the whole thing. This is why people are so angry. Okay, people are so angry because the people that we look to that are supposed to be the authorities, that are supposed to be making our lives better and safer and healthier, have been lying to us for generations. And instead of and then they do this, they divide us down into this group, blacks and whites, and then we're angry at each other instead of the people that have been holding us down. Okay, the people that have been lying to us, the police state, the politicians. It's not the Democrats, it's not the Republicans. They worked together to bring us to this point. They work together to lie to us for generations about reefer madness when they could have been fighting to help little babies suffering from 400 seizures a week. But they were too heartless, and instead they bolstered the prison industrial complex and the police state to umpteenth degree. And not only that, if you legalize all these drugs, if you stop this ridiculous failure of a war on drugs, if you stop it, you end all this crime. Okay, all this crime where people are, doing all these horrible things in the streets, for garbage.
It's so sad. It's so sad. You know what? I had a horrible experience this morning with somebody who was not right in their head, and they were hitting the car behind me. And I feel so bad because I know that if they just fucking had cannabis, that this would not have happened.
It really is unbelievable that people, in places of authority. I'm gonna give somebody else a chance to call, but thanks a bunch for calling. It's really nice to hear from you.
Okay, bye.
Nice to hear from you. Kiss your dog. Kiss your dog for me. All right. So, and this is why I think people are so angry. Honestly, is because the people that we look to that are supposed to be, the ones we trust, the people in positions of authority, are just giant liars. The news, the mainstream media, they've helped the doctors and the for-profit medical industrial complex lie to us for generations. They're the ones who spread their lies again and again and again, knowing that there is other science from other countries and that it could be saving little children in this country. And instead of actually telling us the truth, which is why we turn to them, so we can get correct information so that we know how to move forward as an informed individual on this planet where so many things are going on. We turn to the news or our doctors or our politicians or our police to try and understand, and they lie to us. And we all know that they're lying, and they just keep up the lies for generations. I mean, are we ever going to have a discussion about 9/11 again? Or is that just something that happened in the past and now we're moving forward? It's so understandable that you're angry and that you're walking around with this chip on your shoulder waiting for somebody to fucking bump it off. It's understandable because if I was getting lied to by these people that I turn to out of, desperate need for important information again and again and again, if I was getting lied to them, I would be angry too. Okay? And the whole thing is to make sure you understand who it is that you should be angry at. Let's see what's happening. Hello, caller. How are you today?
Hey, good. How are you? Happy birthday to you.
Thanks, man. Where are you calling from?
Hey, calling from Ohio. This is Todd.
Hey, Todd. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah. So I just want to wish you a happy birthday, and
Right
yeah,
on.
I'm gonna drop you a lunch.
Oh, well, that would be super nice of you, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and do a marathon and see if I can get a couple people to buy me lunch. So far, in my birthday mailbox, no one has bought me lunch today. So that would be super generous of you, Todd, especially compared to everyone else. Just kidding, everyone else.
Well, let me tell you this.
Yeah, man.
There's certain pages that I visited that have some type of a button. I forget what it's called.
Super chat.
chat or something like
Yeah.
that. Do you have to have some sort of privilege to have that? Or?
You have to monetize. You have to have monetization turned on your videos. And I don't monetize my videos, and I wish I could turn on the super chats, and then we could come out here every day and people could show me love really easily, but unfortunately, I don't have that, so you actually have to click on a link and take an extra minute to make something happen.
And that's such a big deal with most people,
People are busy, they got everything going on in their own world.
Yeah.
And that's why I say that it's so super nice of people when they actually take, a couple minutes out of their life to give something back,
Right.
And that's why it's so important too, so that I know that I have the support of the community. I really want to keep doing this for the 2020 election. Okay, I don't know how much past that, but I really think that it would be a loss to the community if I was not to cover the 2020 election.
Well,
and I don't.
What you do is more than a full-time job. That I can tell you. I'm sure you're putting in quite a bit of hours here. And,
it doesn't stop, bro.
Yeah, and you should at least be supported by your viewers. And I'm definitely going to chip into that.
Well, I really appreciate it, man. It makes a huge difference in my world, Todd. If it wasn't for good people like yourself and just a handful of other really good people, I'm telling you, Mox News would not be here right now. And that would, and I really just feel like that would be a loss to the community. And if I didn't feel that way, I would have stopped a long time ago. But I see what it is that I do, even if other people don't want to give me credit for it. And I know that I bring attention to things that just would never get the attention if it were not for Mox News.
Well, you don't hear about this stuff, majority of these topics in the mainstream media, especially the ones that you discuss in your live shows like this right now.
Yeah. Well, and a whole bunch of other stuff, man.
Yeah.
I just, go ahead, Todd.
Especially referring to, a lot that's going on with Israel and their war crimes, and you're not going to hear about that on the mainstream media. That I can tell you.
Well, you hear about it for a moment, but if you're not like watching the news 24/7, you might not see it for sure.
Well, right.
Yeah.
And I basically I have the notification bell on, but YouTube.
Yeah.
They like to censor some of your stuff for some reason. But,
so you don't.
Majority of.
So you don't get get a notification on a lot of my videos, huh?
Well. I know a couple of the live streams, I didn't get any notification, so I was a little outraged by it. But that's just what they've been doing.
Yeah, they don't. They wish I would go away, and that's again why I desperately need the support of my community, because if I have your support, if I have the support of the community that I serve, they cannot make me go. I am the ghost in the machine that they will do, whatever they can. But it's not. I'm not going anywhere. So
yeah, I don't recall seeing a video about. I think was it Nunes who filed a lawsuit today on Twitter. Did you hear anything about that? Or?
Yeah, I heard a little bit about it.
He filed it was more towards conservative, but this covers obviously there's a lot of shadow banning going on out there. That he filed it was quite a big lawsuit on Twitter.
Well,
so I don't know what's going to become of it, but I'm sure YouTube will be next.
they seem like they want to grab control of the social media platforms, the government, in a much bigger way. They're talking about wanting to have a delayed live stream. They're talking about, just wanting to be able to basically, take down any videos that they don't like immediately, or actually not even let them get published in the first place. So it is kind of scary if you're, if you're somebody like me who's trying to be in the moment and do the right thing for everybody and constantly scanning and waiting for that next big event to happen. I think if they're gonna, where they're at right now, if we were to be streaming the Twin Towers live falling down, they would probably be like, yeah, we can't have that going out live. And they'd be like, it's insensitive to the people who died or something. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, just for instance, the Netherlands attack. They couldn't wait to delete all the videos. I actually ended up finding it.
You're talking about New Zealand, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say? Netherlands.
Yeah.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Google tried to delete as fast as they could. Who are they to say what we can and cannot watch on the internet? First of all, whether it's a horrific event or not.
That's what I don't like, is because those videos will show some details. Like if we had video like that of like security camera videos, they should show security camera videos or at least clips of stuff so we know what actually happened. We can see, they can walk us through it and we go, okay, this is actually a live event that happened, because they never show us anything and they just expect us to take their word, and then we hear again and again, oh, the shooter was dressed as a military person and he had vest on, and next thing, and they're saying, oh no, he had a hoodie, a red hoodie, and all this shit. You know what I mean? It's just this conflated bullshit, and all they have to do is show us some freaking pictures. All these damn schools have cameras in them, they do.
Yeah, and then now they're spewing on about white nationalism and it's always got to be about race, and
they want us divided, and it's working. It's working. I mean, it just seems like more and more people are walking around with the chip on their shoulder, just so angry, waiting to be able, road ragey. You know what I mean? They're just waiting to take it out on somebody.
Well, and another thing too, I'm an independent, but what I think that some of these networks are trying to put on President Trump is absolutely ridiculous and outrageous. That how could you say that this individual had anything to do with Trump? And even if you read his manifesto, he said he wouldn't vote for Trump, and he considered himself an eco-fascist, I believe, or eco-something.
Yeah.
And I just think the media is out of control. And like you said, they're doing nothing but dividing people. And shit's going to get worse real quickly.
And it seems like it's going to get worse. It does. I still think that we have the ability to move beyond the anger and move beyond the division. If we can realize who the real enemy is and rally around something that we can all agree upon, which to me is freedom. Got freedom? You know what I'm saying? If we can all just say, hey, this is something that actually matters to me and to you. Your religion, I've said it again and again, it doesn't matter to me. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know anything about it. I don't want to know what it is,
Right.
but you know, and you can say, oh, we can all agree that hate is bad. Well, I think from what I hear, you know, I don't think that everyone will agree with that. But I think that we can all agree that freedom is incredibly important to every single individual on the planet.
Absolutely.
And that's why, you know, that's why I keep talking about this. That's why I keep talking about who the real enemy is. It's not ISIS. ISIS is this thing that's held up to fucking make you hate. It's like, oh, those are the bad people. Yeah, let's go bomb the shit out of those motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's they're not the threat. They're the distraction. So, you know, the bait and switch here. Oh yeah, this is what's important. Now we're going to scoop out all this money out of Social Security, out of Medicare, so that we can pay for this, because this is what you're really scared of, right?
Well, they do that while you're paying attention to what they told you, that, you know, ISIS is the big threat here. So while you're paying attention to that,
right,
that's when they go in your pocketbook.
Right. The threat is the people in Washington, D.C. The threat is the people who've been lying to us in the media forever about so many things that are so important to our lives, like the war in Iraq. You know,
That was the biggest joke.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't. There's not a single bit of investigative journalists that tried to hold President Trump accountable on his bullshit lies to take us into Iraq and spend $1 trillion. Okay,
right.
So and they lied to us about that, and we're angry about that, but we forget because they're going like, oh no, white people, oh no, black people, Black Lives Matter, no, you know, they divide us into these little groups where it's like hate, and that's what they're doing. They make you afraid because we have to fight them over there, so we don't have to fight them here. They make you afraid. They divide you into these little groups, and then you're afraid, and you're in these little groups, so you become like tribal. Oh no, those people are bad. You know, you can be in your little fucking groups. That's fine. But that doesn't make this other group a bad group. They're great people. Invite them over. Have a party, man. You know?
Yeah. We're all bleed the same color at the end of the day.
Yes, and we can all rally around the idea that freedom matters to every single individual on the planet. You know, and that's probably the only thing, because we can't agree that your God is the greatest God. We can't agree on that, you know, but we can agree on freedom. And that's why, you know, I've done what I've done. You know, as these guys, the police state is lying to you, the government's lying to you, and it's been shown again and again and again, and they're lying in order to divide you and take more of your freedom and more of your freedom and more and our treasure and our sons and daughters and brothers and sisters to be wasted away in cages or wars of choice, where, you know, just to make rich people more rich. That's why they're in cages. That's why they're in wars of choice, far away from their families, you know, ruining their lives with post-traumatic stress and brain trauma and it just sucks, you know, and you wonder why you're angry, and then you go, oh, it's those guys, and then the media goes, it's those guys. That's why you're angry, because of Trump. It's all because of Trump.
Yeah. But, you know, I just think what's going on is, especially directed towards him. Like I said, I don't support him on a lot, but
I don't like Trump at all. He's not a good person in my book, you know. But I you know, I'm not out here bashing him every day, all day long. That's not. Even, you know, they do these story after story, bashing him about this or that or the next thing, and I'm just like, that's not what I want my news channel to be about, you know.
Well, right, but and then yeah, basically I was going to say the same thing, but I got another quick comment. In regards to your live streams, I've noticed, you had a couple of trolls calling before,
Mm-hmm.
and I really hope that doesn't get to you, and ruin these type of calling that you do. Because I enjoy calling in, and because you have quite a bit of knowledge. It's always good to, talk in the call and share my opinions and hear yours. And
Right on, Todd. That's really nice of you.
Well, I wouldn't want these idiot trolls to influence any of your decisions on canceling doing this.
Right on, Todd.
Because you're always going to have people like that.
Yeah. Well, thanks a bunch for calling, Todd. It's really nice to hear from you, and I appreciate your support. You're one of the good ones, bro.
I appreciate it, and I'll drop you something for your little birthday.
That'd be awesome, man.
In a few minutes.
Thanks so much.
Yep. Goodbye now.
All right. Talk to you soon. I hope. Okay, we got another caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
How are you today?
Oh, it is a nice day in the South. I will tell you that, Mikey.
Right on. Okay, so I just want, hold on one sec. I just want to say what Todd was talking about. Thanks very much for calling, Todd. And what Todd was talking about was he was concerned that I might be affected negatively by trolls. And I just want to let you know, number one, I've never been bested by a troll. I have zero fear of trolls, and I seriously doubt that I ever will be bested by a troll. So trolls won't ever drive me away. And I've been doing this exact thing where I interact with people for years before there was ever a YouTube. So, and I've been getting picked on and bullied since kindergarten. So you don't have to worry about, anything like that from me. I'm used to it. I got tough skin. All right. What's your name, caller?
You don't need to worry about my name.
Yes, I do. I'm very concerned about your name. Give me a name. Any name will do.
JC works.
Hey, JC. Nice to hear from you, bro.
So you're talking about freedom. And I see some of the people in the live chat praising people like Shay and all that other shit.
Shay?
And that's insane. Yeah, Shay Guevara.
Okay.
And praising Venezuela.
Okay.
There is no such thing as freedom when it comes to socialism.
Well, let me give you one of my favorite little facts about Venezuela. Did you know that per capita, Venezuela has the largest amount of breast augmentation of any country on the planet? This is true. This is true. So,
that is not a litmus for the prosperity of a company or country where the government has squandered the wealth and resources of the country.
Well, we've just been in a couple of endless wars ourselves where the government is squandering the resources of our own country. And I think it would probably be much more important to focus on that than Venezuela.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, though, your episode is obviously about freedom.
Freedom.
But you can't. Right. And freedom is being eroded today in the United States.
That's what I'm really concerned about. I mean, I care about people's freedom everywhere, and that's what really the whole channel has always been about, is freedom. That's what my work's been about way before YouTube.
I understand. The problem is that when you have people that praise, and there's giant movements right now in the United States, and it's kind of sickening. They're praising socialism and communism, and they're I self-identify as a socialist and I self-identify as a communist. None of the systems has ever worked.
I didn't know there was people identifying as communists. That's odd.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, It is insane.
Yeah, that's really odd.
And there's no such thing as freedom in those societies.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that Venezuela is a really good example of a socialist society. So, I mean, it may have been,
Okay,
it may have been, 10 years ago or something, but I don't think that it is a good example. I don't know. I think would you consider Sweden a socialist society?
Sweden themselves has said they are not socialists.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
they're not even democratic socialists, which is a bullshit moniker just to put lipstick on that pig.
yeah, and that's why I asked, because I don't think that they're quite socialist, but they a lot of those Northern European countries, they have a lot of socialism. They support artists. Like Denmark spends millions of dollars every year buying art and then just putting it in a warehouse, so the artists are funded and able to keep creating.
Well, that's fine, but they also have some of the highest tax rates in the world that the government can spend the money on. So
No, I agree, but they all get vacations, and they take advantage of that. I mean, they all travel all the time. They get like 3 months of vacation a year or something. So, and I'm not saying that, and certainly a lot of people would view that as freedom compared to what a lot of people get in America. But look, I don't think that we should be focusing our ideal of freedom anywhere else in the world. I think we should focus on America, because America's shit
exactly right.
is not together. And once we got our shit together, once we again can be the shiny beacon to the world, and you talk about socialism, but if we're going to build a 21st century infrastructure, a lot of that is going to be done on a socialistic kind of, is good for everyone, right?
No.
Huh.
No. See, and there's the fallacy of the thing. People say, oh, roads, that's socialism. Schools, that's socialism. That is not socialism.
Okay.
That is not socialism at all.
What about Social Security?
That is, Social Security is a legal Ponzi scheme.
Which is also insurance. Private insurance is also a Ponzi scheme.
It is.
It is. It's disgusting.
But those are other topics. The point is that for socialism to work, the rights of the citizens are taken away, and the ruling class becomes the government, more so than what we have right now. And that's just not right.
Okay, so you're talking about like Elizabeth Warren is talking about the government breaking up Google and Facebook and stuff like that. So like you're talking about seizing companies and stuff, or
no.
No.
I'm talking about how every time socialism has been done, the only people that actually live free and live like kings are those at the top, and everybody else are the peasants that have to support the government, because the taxes have to go up, and with the taxes going up, people get rowdy, so they enact more laws, you lose rights, you lose freedoms, and then where are you at? It's another friggin' Venezuela.
Well, I'm not a socialist, and I think that it's odd that politicians identify in that way. I think there's a lot of strange things going on in politics right now that, again, is just mainly theater there to divide us.
Theater.
Yeah, it's theater.
It's absolutely theater.
Yeah, and it's there to divide us into these small groups.
It's like friggin' Cory Booker, right?
Booker.
So Mr. Spartacus himself, he's all of it. When he started this whole thing up until he, announced his presidency, and even his run to the nomination, rather, I'm sorry, he was touting that same, socialist bullshit. And then I saw an article today where he came out and he says, I'm not a socialist, I'm a capitalist.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren said the same thing yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're now trying to distance themselves from that, but they're still playing that friggin' lunatic card to get that vote.
See, for me, I think the labels are insane, because they don't seem to mean what they used to say, like right, left, conservative, liberal. I just don't think that they mean what they used to, and people use them again just to divide and disregard people. But I also think that I don't think that capitalism works. I mean, what I see in capitalism is it just means that all the natural resources of the earth are scooped away to the 1%, and then the 1% dole them back out to the people as needed, because they're the natural resources that people are necessary. They need water, oil, gold, whatever. And to me, that doesn't seem like that works either, right? I mean,
let me point something out real quick.
Yeah.
You were talking about how everybody is trying to divide everybody based off of skin color, ethnicity, religion, everything else, right?
Everything, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of doing the same thing when you start talking about the 1% and everything else.
Well, not really.
No, you are.
No, because I'm talking about these people that are in control. Okay, these are the ones who are making our lives the way they are. These are the people that are keeping us in the 1950s as opposed to us being able to get our 21st century infrastructure. These are the people, these are the people that have lied to us for generations about the medicinal qualities of cannabis, because they want us, because they,
another conversation.
No, it's the same one. These are all the same people. They're the ones in control of the media that you hate so much. They're the ones, and for whatever reason, somehow you want to defend them now and say, oh, but I'm not really talking about the 1%. I'm talking about the 1/10 of 1%.
No, hold on. You're going off into another conversation with the cannabis. We can touch on that real quick if you want to.
No, the point is that they're the ones that have lied to us. Okay? They're the ones who for generations have said, no, we need to keep this illegal because we want to profiteer off of all these people and put them in jails and keep them under our thumbs and not give them the freedom or the medicine that can save thousands and thousands of babies' lives who have seizures every day. They want to lie to us.
You know how capitalism works? You say that they control our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So capitalism works, and you vote with your dollars. If you don't like them, don't spend your money with them. If enough people do that, they will go out of business.
The war will go out of business. The police state will go out of business.
Wow. Because
that's where they're making their money. That's what they're keeping in place. The infrastructure will all of a sudden come around. They are the ones. Donald Trump said it himself. The rich people own the politicians. Okay? The politicians do what the rich people want. The politicians are the ones who have sold our freedom to where we are right now in this moment in 2019 on my birthday. Both of them, the Republicans and the Democrats.
And yet people keep voting for those same politicians for decades over decades.
Because they have massive amounts of money because they go into the voting booth and all they've heard is this one politician, Chuck Schumer, Chuck Schumer, Chuck Schumer, Chuck Schumer, Chuck Schumer. And they get there and they say Chuck Schumer and they see the other guy who they never heard of before and they go Chuck Schumer, because that's what people do.
Well, unfortunately, people need to better educate themselves when they vote. People vote with emotions. They don't vote with logic.
Which is a lot of what Mox News is about, is trying to educate people, to show them who the real enemy is. And you have to understand that the enemy is both sides, the Republicans and the Democrats who brought us to this moment right here, right now. Because they work together to make it happen. What's that?
I trust gas station sushi before I trust the government.
Yeah. It's the Republicans and the Democrats that have brought us to this moment, working hand in hand. They're the ones who got us the endless wars. They're the ones who have allowed the government to build this for-profit prison industry, which just, is just horrible for poor people. I mean, it's ruined the lives of so many poor people for no reason, except for some rich guy got more rich off of it, and the police could kick in somebody's door.
Hold on. Are you telling me that poor people go to prison because they're poor?
Poor people. That's right. Because rich people don't go to prison because they're rich. Don't you not believe?
No.
Don't you believe that?
People go to prison because they do bad things.
No.
Rich people don't go to prison because they can afford great lawyers.
That's exactly right. And that's why poor people go to prison, because they can't afford great lawyers.
Well, if you don't break the law, you won't need to have a lawyer.
If you don't have a law that criminalizes normal human behavior for 1,000 generations before this one, maybe people wouldn't be breaking laws. The people have been. Are you saying that people have not been over criminalized?
No, I'm not saying that, but you also got to realize that people break the law, they get in trouble, they go to prison, but also,
not rich people
vote politicians in that write these dumbass fucking laws.
The rich people give the politicians money so that they can get the people to vote them in, and then the politicians answer to the rich people. Come on, JC, you know this.
I know, but I'm also pointing out the flaws in your logic.
What flaw?
Again, if you break the law, there's consequences to pay. If you don't like the law, vote somebody else in to change the law.
Which is what we've done here in Washington State. But but for generations, the people have been lied to by the rich people and the politicians and the medical companies and the fucking mainstream media to get them to believe we got to fight them over there so we don't have to fight them here. Or whatever else. We got to have the war on drugs because think of the children, and that's all benefiting rich people. So we over criminalize the poor because no rich guy goes to fucking jail because he has cocaine in his pocket. It doesn't happen. He can have cocaine in his pocket and a fucking corpse sitting next to him in his Ferrari, and he ain't going to jail.
I'm not saying you're wrong there.
Yeah. So, and it's the rich people who keep it like that. And no voting people out is going to make a difference. Unless
you have to start at the bottom.
Right. We got to get rid of all these people. We have to, the best thing that could happen is to ban the Republican Party and the Democratic Party from politics in the United States forever, and just start over.
There will always be cliques in government. Hell, there's the Hispanic caucus, the Black caucus, the Jewish caucus,
which is absolutely fine. I've said this already. It's okay for you to break down into your little groups. The problem is that when it's Republicans and Democrats, a whole bunch of people get left out.
It doesn't matter what label you put on it.
No, it does, because if we get rid, no, there isn't a socialist party. If we get rid of the Democrats and the Republicans, then there will be an independent party. Then there will be other parties, a pirate party, a cannabis party, a green party. Right now, we don't have that. We do not have that right now. And that's because of the lies of mainstream media and the politicians. They don't want it to change. They want it to stay exactly like this.
No, they don't want it to change. And the reason why that we don't have party system, multiple party system, is because at the local level, all those politicians that people elect keep the other parties out.
Right.
It is insane for an independent to be elected federally.
Absolutely. It's crazy. Look at what happened to Bernie Sanders in 2016. You know, he tried to fucking run as a fucking Democrat, and the entire
He's not a Democrat.
the entire Democratic organization fucking basically cheated to have him thrown out. Right, but if he ran as an independent, he wouldn't have been in any of the primary debates, and he wouldn't have been in any of the he wouldn't have been in the presidential debate. I mean, it might have been in the presidential debate, but it's not likely.
No.
Go ahead.
No, you're right. You're right, partially.
Yeah.
The problem with Bernie is Bernie's not a Democrat. Bernie basically infiltrated the Democratic Party, and they let him because they wanted all the votes of the people that he would garner.
Yeah.
They used him.
Yep.
And as soon as he was out, he changed his party affiliation back to independent.
It's not
a Democrat.
It's not.
And I don't understand why he affiliates with them, because he knew exactly what was going to happen.
Probably he was, and that's why Bernie doesn't have the support now that he had then, because people don't trust him anymore, because he basically shilled for Hillary.
He did.
Yeah.
Bernie's a freaking sellout.
Yeah.
He sold out his own beliefs
I agree 100%.
just to try to get on the ticket.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, you know, I mean, we're just, and that's why I keep saying, you know, that we have to move beyond all this division stuff and understand that it doesn't matter whether the Republicans, independents, or Democrats, they're all there to sell us out, for them to make money, and that if we can just look beyond that and rally around freedom. I keep saying I support the party that fights for freedom. And can you remind me which party that is again, JC? Because I can't tell.
No party fights for freedom.
That's what I'm saying. And that's why they are all the enemy. Because they swear an oath to fucking protect your freedom, and all they do is chisel away at it, chisel away at it, chisel away at it.
Every politician swears an oath to the Constitution, and they don't uphold it. And you can see that every time that they attack the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, I can't remember the other ones. The
Fourth Amendment.
Yeah.
You know,
it's freaking, it's ridiculous.
There's no right to privacy at all anymore. The government collects every single text off of your phone and every single picture that your 15-year-old daughter takes with their phone. So, you know, not the ones that she sends, every single one she takes. Because that's what kind of perverts are in the fucking federal government. And this is what I keep saying. This is why both Republicans and Democrats are the enemy. Because they worked together to allow that to happen instead of fighting for our freedom. Hey, JC, it's really nice to hear from you, man.
Yeah.
All right. What's the weather like where you're at?
Sunny and full of pollen.
I'm feeling it too. My eyes are like, oh, I'm trying not to itch them.
Yeah. All right. Well, have fun talking to somebody else.
Okay. Stay cool, bro. And this is why, you know, and this is what I keep saying. We can have this discussion. You know, he, again, wanted to talk about this group. He wanted to break it down to this group. And that's what they do to us, is they say, oh, we got to vilify that group. That group is the bad people, you know. And it's easy to understand why people might not like socialists, or might not like Democrats, or might not like Republicans. You know, I mean, think about what the Democrats did to Bernie Sanders in the last election. You know, they completely conspired against him to screw him out of the nomination and throw the White House to Donald Trump, because nobody is going to vote for Hillary. And we all know it. The black helicopters are always out there, Jane. It was probably a crow. I got a bunch of crows out there. Oh, look at that. We have a caller.
You need to press 1.
I'm pressing 1. Hello, caller.
Oh, you got it. Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. Like your show, I really do.
Right on. What's your name?
Jim.
Jim, nice to hear from you. Where you calling from?
Okay. Illinois,
Illinois.
outside of Chicago.
How's the weather outside Chicago today?
The weather is nice.
Right on.
Been waiting for a day like this for a while, but it's nice.
Yeah, I hear you, man. That's why I had to get the dogs out early. I was like, man, I swear it feels like it's 70 degrees outside here.
Oh wow, you got better weather than we'll settle for what we got considering the low temperatures lately.
I'll take it.
But the reason why I was calling it just irks me every time I hear somebody, you got to vote the bad ones in and the good ones. Voting is the problem. People got to stop voting. The system's rigged. You can't beat the system by voting. That's what they want. So
Well,
I suggest people to stop the vote.
Not
to vote.
I kind the thing is, I think that if we just banished the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, because I'm sure, as I keep making happen, we can all agree that they have worked together to bring us to where we are at this moment. Those two parties,
Exactly.
almost singularly, working together. If we can just agree to that and say, okay, no more of those people, Democrats, no more Democrats, they just don't exist in U.S. politics anymore. We would be like starting from scratch almost, and there'd be new parties and parties that actually represent people. And it would be like grassroots movements all over the place. It would be a real rebirth to American politics, I believe myself.
So, in your theory of getting rid of them and your idea of it, what does that consist of? I mean, how do you see that happening?
We hang them all. First, we hang all the lawyers. No,
That's why I like Whitney.
It has to be like a movement where we all just go, all right, we're all just going to vote independent this time. But it has to be like a rallying call to say, because if we could just all vote out all the Democrats and all the Republicans and just like vote in all independents and make them promise that they were going to banish the Republican and Democratic parties from U.S. politics, that's what they run on, then we'd actually have, a start to something new. And because otherwise it just seems like this, same, different sides of the same endless wars of choice for profit coin, forever. It seems like that's what we're going to have no matter what, no matter how many Ilhan Omars you throw in there, you're just going to have this fucking two-party system where it's basically completely rigged for the rich people.
I'm on board. One of the things during the Babylonian Empire, Sumeria, they had an old saying, the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. And if you ignore this system that's a massive failure, it'll cease to exist. And I believe in that. Are you able to receive any images? Because I text you an image, a pretty powerful image.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's a 7,400-year-old tablet. It's a copy of the original.
Huh.
If you look at it, there's the life symbol in the middle, the life tree, and on either side of it, there's two individuals fighting each other. They're pointing at each other, and standing behind them is what they depicted as falling angels.
Huh.
Zachariah Sitchin got a lot of it wrong. And I'm able to read the text. He's not a Sumerian, I am. And he got most of the information all wrong. But that's one side, those two individuals, fighting each other, that's a Democrat and Republican, and look what's standing behind them. That's your leaders on either side, pulling all the strings, manipulating people. That's a great way to describe it. They've had this problem back in those times also.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
One of the things that they described was that you fuss and fight about what you want, and they'll tell you what they want. And the most powerful tool people have is nothing. Do nothing.
Well, certainly not give this group or that group support. Absolutely.
Not recognition. If you don't recognize it, it's all a mental thing. If you don't recognize it, the way they describe it is if you don't recognize something that's harmful towards you, it will cease to exist. And you'll see the major parties coming together frantic to give you what you want.
Yeah.
As long as you're begging and fighting for it, they're going to take you around for a really good spin.
Yeah.
The moment they realize, that's why they constantly bombard and brainwash everybody. Well, if you don't like it, then vote for someone you want that's beneficiary to you. Well, the truth is the opposite. You give up on the system, and they'll come begging you back into the system.
I think
they might give you what you want.
I think it's an interesting idea, but there's so much money from the rich and the big corporations that it seems like it might be difficult by cutting him off that way. You know what I mean? It might not work. That the rich might still be able to keep him afloat for quite some time without the support of the people.
It worked thousands of years ago. I don't know. Their money, yeah, they've got a lot of influence and a lot of money.
Yeah.
But can you imagine the amount of money they spend to make people involved in their system? You see, their money would become obsolete. I mean, they describe an entire civilization, a kingdom collapsing because the people outside the kingdom just didn't care anymore. They didn't want to. and the extremes that the kings would go to get people back in, they would give them what they want most times, you know.
But that's, again, this is a lot of what I'm saying too, which is that we have to move beyond, these little group things where it's like, we have to vote for those people because they're for this, they're on our side for this or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, because none of them are on our side for anything. They may act like it, but that's just this pandering thing that they can't get enough of because they know different groups will just eat up this pandering, man. I'm going to tell them exactly what they want to hear, and they're going to eat up every single word of it.
You're right. And you know what? Going down the list, there's a few things that people can do that will literally turn things around, a lot more quicker than voting for someone. But one of the things I believe in is, if people would take their kids out of school, your kids are destroyed in the schools. Let's face it. They're not teaching them or real history. They want them to get vaccinated. They're got this Common Core thing that's inverted reality. So your kids are destroyed. If you truly do love your kids, pull them out of the school, keep your wife home. Just that alone will cut your taxes by 80%. But you're right. You got to get enough people together. Communities can teach kids, and then, that's less taxes that they're going to take, from a family. It's, they're taxing, now the kids are having to work, so that's what I would suggest is homeschool.
I know a lot of people that feel the same way, man. Plus,
Ron Paul's pushing. Ron Paul's got that website where he's pushing for it.
Yeah,
that's one big step.
It makes it, this way. I think socialization is really important. Getting people out and knowing the world and knowing how to meet people and be part of interacting and all of that. But which is a big part of why I take the dogs out every day. I want them to be able to, know the neighborhood, and if they ever get out on their own, know how to go up to people and not be afraid and stuff like that. But
right.
But I think that public schools have just become basically a babysitting service, and that I really question how much anybody is learning from their actual time that's being spent, and couldn't it be, basically they could get everything that they get from a classroom except for the socialization that I'm talking about. They get everything off a tablet. They wouldn't ever actually have to leave the house. They could all, sit at home and get exactly the same thing from a tablet. And then you don't have to worry about them, somebody selling them drugs or whatever, because that's what the cool kids are doing.
And the success rate is higher homeschooling your kids. And you see a bigger difference when, you take your kids to a public school, their whole personality, who they become, their choices they make. To me, America was that way at one point. early on, and you know, they start wars, and then they implement things gradually, and then it becomes the norm, and people accept it. I mean, here's a good example. This is the mindset of people. They'll sit in traffic for hours and not beat the horn. But if you're not fast enough, they'll pull around you, give you a middle finger, and beat the horn at you because you're not driving. But they won't do that when they're sitting. See, they won't beat the horn at their government for causing delays in traffic, or working around it so that it doesn't cause congestion. But to me and you, will attack each other, and that's what that picture shows. And it's like genetically modifying people to believe and follow the system, but not each other, just to attack each other. And that happens routinely if you're living around Chicago, trying to get around it.
Well, it's not just Chicago. I mean, we can all see it happening everywhere online, for sure. And any kind of major city hub, there seems to be a lot of problems with that. And it's by design. I mean, this is something that the government wants. They want the crime. Because if they wanted to end crime, the first thing, just end the drug war, and you end 70-80% of crime immediately, because all the money, because all this big money, that makes little crimes happen everywhere, dries up and goes straight to the government instead of going to all these little black markets everywhere across the country, every single town, no matter how tiny your little town is. They talk about, oh, we got to build a wall so we can stop the fentanyl. You can't stop the fentanyl. You could build a dome over the United States, and you can't stop it. The only way to stop it is to legalize it. And then there won't be a reason for criminals to sell it, because anybody can go to the fucking party store and buy what they want for fucking on 99-cent special.
And between me, you, and everybody else, we know who's running the drugs in and out.
Yeah,
we definitely know that.
The people who control Afghanistan. It's the people who control Afghanistan are running the drugs.
Didn't they say it when they were in the 80s in Congress? Well, the best way to control it is if we run it. And wasn't that the CIA's goal?
That sounds about right.
But it's the same everywhere you look, and it just doesn't look good going into the future. And if people don't do something about it now,
don't let the dark future outlook, be your only outlook, because there is promising future. We just have to get rid of the people that seem like they're taking it away from us. If we can just get rid of them, if we can somehow come together, move beyond the divisions, and come together, and then we can make happen what we want. And it's just, people have to recognize who the real enemy is and come together because right now it just seems like people just buy into that division. They're them, and it's not. They're not them. They're us. The people at the top are them. The people at the top are the ones that are making all the decisions. They're the ones who are making all the laws. They're the ones who created the police state. They're the ones who keep the police state funded and in place. So that's who the enemy is. And if we can just figure that out, then we can move forward and change it and begin to make what we want to make happen. And hopefully that will show a much more positive future than the one that you're thinking looks like we have ahead.
Right. Yeah, true that. Well, somebody better either side act quick, because they have the economic collapse card on their side, and the people
I agree
want a brighter future.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And just to be, and they're holding that card for the very end. I'm telling you, what's going to happen is that's the last card.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
War.
That makes
if people let this go too long and they feel they're losing control, they're going to start a major war. And don't fall for that whole line about the border issue, because the truth about that is the reason why they're using the military down there to want to build a wall is because when they pull the plug on the economy, it's not the Mexican. I mean, we've had this migration thing for a while now.
Yeah.
From Mexico into the U.S. It's when they pull the plug, when the economy does go down, they don't want mass migrations into Mexico.
Yeah.
And the Mexican officials made a deal a long time ago. They warned that you guys screw this up, we're not letting your people come on this side of the fence.
Yeah, they won't either.
It has
they
nothing
won't.
to do with. Yeah, that's what it's about, and they know that. That's why they're preparing for it. They're putting the military out in that part of the world because they know that when their backs are against the wall and they pull the economy, they're gonna start a war.
Bad one. I made this exact video, so you know. what was your name?
Tim.
Tim?
I want to see that.
Oh, Jim.
What was
No,
that?
I made it's called It's a Cookbook. It's a cookbook.
Oh.
You remember the old Twilight Zone video where the flying saucers come down and they end all diseases and they make it so that the planet is a paradise, and then people after they end all the diseases and people are healthy and they're having all they want to eat, they start welcoming the people onto their spaceships to take them over. And just as the one diplomat is getting on the spaceship, his assistant comes running after him, and she says, "They translated the title. It's a cookbook." You know, the name of the book was called. It was called "To Serve Man." That's all they. That's right. And I said, and in that video, it's called "It's a Cookbook." I described the fact that the wall is being built to keep people in, not to keep people out, and it would be really good if you guys could come to understand that. So you know, Jim.
Well, I don't want to take too much time. I'm sure a lot of guys want to call in.
Yeah, right on. Well, thanks a bunch for calling. It's my birthday today.
Happy birthday! I love your show. You're the only person I'll listen to, and I'll call in.
Hey, well, thanks a bunch for calling. It's always nice to hear from you guys. Thanks, bro. And again, this is why, again, I do this, because it's easy to see that we're able to move beyond the division. You know, every once in a while, we'll get a trollish caller, but they're just trolls. They're not actually, oh, I hate you for this scientific reason and that scientific reason, and we're so separate on everything because of this reason and that reason. They're just trolls. They're just calling to troll me, you know, but again, I can do this and take call after call after call, and we just get good people who are like, but unfortunately, no one is kicking down for Mox News birthday dinner. It's my birthday. There's clickable links below the text pod. You know, I'm desperate for help. Hello, caller.
Well, good evening, Michael. How are you, sir? Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad I caught you on here and I could talk with you.
What's your name?
Well, last time I was anonymous user, but how about this time we go with not sure?
Okay. What's up, not sure?
Well, I saw you were talking about all kinds of stuff tonight. So what do you want to talk about? It's your birthday.
I'm talking about freedom, man. I'm talking about, you know, look, it's my birthday. All I want to do is be able to keep doing this, because I can hear in the callers. I can hear, and I can see what it is that I do, and I understand that I have an effect on people, and I want to continue to have that effect on the largest scale that I can have. And I can only do that with the help and support of the community that I serve. And if I'm not doing that, if I'm not having that effect, you know, then fine. Don't give anything back, and I'll have to go away and find somebody who people feel that I am doing something of value. But I've been working my ass off for this community forever. And all I want is to be able to keep doing that. And I can't do it without your help. And that's why I'm out here on my birthday to say, please, I'd like to keep doing this at least through the 2020 election, you know, because it's going to be insane. It hasn't even started yet, and it's crazy world out there. It's going to be insane. And you know that I cover it like no one else. You know, I do it with this style that, and you guys always thinking that you guys are the most important part of that, you know, protecting your freedom, fighting for you to be able to say the things that you feel need to be said. And I don't know, maybe I am just kidding myself, and maybe this work really isn't of value. Maybe I don't make a difference in people's lives. You know, maybe I haven't opened anybody's eyes in 15 years time, and maybe I'm just a dinosaur that needs to go away. And if that's what the facts are, then I need to know that so that I can begin to make that transition. Otherwise, I'm begging. Yeah, thanks very much. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, I told you last time, I've been following you for a long time, since George Bush.
Right on. That is a long time, huh? Seems like forever, doesn't it?
I know.
But it happened like in a blink of an eye too, right?
Yeah, I know. And the older you get, the faster time goes. But I do think you're making a difference. What troubles me is that, you know, especially with YouTube, you know, there were days when, back in the day, before any voices of dissent were basically censored financially.
Yeah.
You know, now it's, you're completely reliant on donations, and that's troubling to me. There needs to be another solution out there, and I know that there are people that are working on other solutions. Ideally, something that uses blockchain technology to prevent censorship.
And gives you an anonymity too.
Yeah, and then also, you know, similar to what I would say, you know, old school Google business model was, where they truly did reward the contributors, and today they basically censor the contributors, which really bothers me significantly.
Yeah,
there's a massive censorship campaign going on everywhere you can look.
Absolutely, I agree. I think that, and again, that's partially why, you know, I being just on donations, you know, being able, they can't really censor me. You know, and that's why I said I will always do this as long as I have the support of the community, because they can't make me stop. They really can't censor me if I don't want to let them. You know, if I have the support of this community. If I do not, then I'm just treading water, basically waiting until I'm too tired to continue to tread water.
I know it feels that way at times, brother. You're not alone. I told you that last time. I'm going to say it again. You're not alone.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
On your birthday.
Yeah. No, I don't feel alone. I know that there are people, you know, who appreciate what it is I do. I know that there is. I know that there's a lot of them. And that's the reason why when I come out here and I feel like, you know, like I'm begging, is because I know that there's people out there that actually really support me, but for whatever reason won't give something back. And that's why, and that's how I wind up begging. And it sucks because I shouldn't have to do it. I shouldn't, you know, there's no reason a person of my caliber, who has fought for the freedom of so many people and the awareness of and reach so many people, should have to beg. You know, it just is not, but whatever, you know, I just want to be able to do this. And if somebody has a way to come up to figure out so that I can do this for, you know, through the 2020 election, I'm all ears, because that's what I want to make happen. I don't want to have to beg every fucking time I come on camera. And it mainly because, I mean, I can deal with the pain that it causes me to have to beg, but it seems to really bother the viewers. And I don't want my, you know, I don't want whatever, not, you know, to chase people away, and because I'm just trying to do the right thing by everybody, and I don't want to wind up turning people off because you got to have money in this fucked up world to survive.
I know, that's the catch-22, isn't it?
And that's why people sell themselves out and censor themselves, so that they can come out here and they can get support that they need, or they can have the ad revenues that they want to get off the YouTube, because if you say the wrong thing, your ad revenues are gone on YouTube, and you are, regardless of your followership, you will not be making any more money off of YouTube.
Well, please be patient. Please have faith. I believe that there will be a solution soon. I mean, if there's anything to say for the good of humanity, there will be options to YouTube and Facebook soon. So I know there are people working on other options, and hopefully we can get away from this situation where you feel like you have to beg.
Yeah.
And if there are those that are out there that are able to contribute, I urge them to. Like I said, I've been following you for a long time. I know you have a lot to contribute, and I appreciate what you do.
I just want, yeah. Well, thanks very much, bro. It's really good to hear from you, and thank you for all your help. I appreciate it.
You betcha. Next time, let's talk about some of the current events. I'm ready to kind of.
Well, let's talk about it now. What do you want to talk about? What's happening right now? You want to talk about?
Well, you were talking about freedom.
Yeah, man.
And there's plenty to say about that. My first thing that I would urge everybody who's listening right now is to ask themselves, what does freedom mean to them? Because we use this word so freely, literally, and no pun intended. But what does it really mean to be free? So my first question to you, Michael, is what does it mean to be free? What does that mean?
To be free means to be able to live your life the way you choose without someone constantly telling you that you're not allowed to do that.
Okay, so that's a good start. Now my question to that is, does that mean that you can also do harm to others?
No, because doing harm to others, see, live your life the way you choose, as long as you're not negatively affecting someone else's life. Because if you're negatively affecting other people, then there's a question of whether or not you're allowing them the freedom to be able to live their lives the way they want.
Exactly. I agree with you completely. That's my definition of freedom, is basically living your life as you see fit, as long as you're not causing harm to others. I think we're in complete agreement on that.
Yeah.
But what concerns me today is that we are not anywhere close to that.
No, we're nowhere close to freedom. We're not even. It doesn't even seem like it's on the radar.
And I know some places of the world are in worse shape than we are, but I don't think we're anything to brag about. And that really saddens me at the end of the day.
Yeah, because we keep, they always talk about how the United States is the beacon in the world, and I think honestly for me, it all changed, like right after September 11th, because for me it always used to mean that when the flag is raised, right, when they take a hill on the battlefield and the flag is raised, the flag meant freedom reigns here now. You know what I mean? And it doesn't seem like it means that anymore. And
well, that's what they used us, and then they sold us a war.
Yeah.
And they basically pulled a big old bait and switch on us in terms of justifying the war in Iraq when they didn't have anything to do with 9/11.
Yeah, and when is anybody going to be held accountable for that? We're so concerned about holding Donald Trump accountable, which how I feel about rich people. I don't like them, and I think they should be held, and primarily because they don't have to ever get held accountable, and also they don't need me to like them. They got everybody on the planet licking their fucking balls, so that's why I'm not in any big hurry to go kiss some rich guy's balls. Because they got plenty of people lined up to do that. And it's just, I don't know. I lost my train of thought there.
No, you're right about that. I was going to say that I am in complete agreement with you that there are two types of people in this world. There are the ruling class. I heard you earlier talking to another gentleman who was kind of arguing with you a little bit. And then there's everybody else. And we have to really, the first thing, in order to be able to solve this problem that we have today, we have to admit there's a problem.
Yeah.
And the first problem is that there is a different set of rules for the ruling class elite than everybody else.
Right.
And that is a big problem that we need to start addressing. And I don't see that happening. You post a lot of the stuff that's on the mainstream media.
Right.
And that really kind of helps, us see what's going on. But doggone, that's only half the problem, because the worst thing that the mainstream media does is lies by omission. That's their worst crime
Yeah.
against humanity. They don't tell you the other side. And you have to go to other media sources to get that information. I'm not talking about propaganda. I'm saying the mainstream media today is the propaganda. And what people need to do.
This is what I've always said. This is what I've always said from day one. You know, when I first started sorry to interrupt. When I first started working on YouTube, I got scouted by the Huffington Post and a couple other like really big blogs like Time Magazine top 10 most important news blogs on the internet. You know, hired me to work for them, and what they said. What they gave me freedom to post what I want to post, and I would start posting, and they'd be like, "Why are you posting all this Pentagon propaganda?" And I'd be like, "Well, you know what they say about keep your enemies close or your friends close." You know, it's important for people to know, and eventually people begin to understand that it's not. And I know you know, and you understand completely what that the Pentagon is propaganda, and that the media is just an outlet for that propaganda. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people really believe that the Pentagon is probably the most upstanding organization in our federal government.
Well, I would like to comment on that. First of all, I would say anybody who's never read Smedley Butler's book, read that, War is a Racket, because that'll tell you everything you need to know about the military-industrial complex, and he had it decades ago.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, completely. If people don't understand that the government feeds the mainstream media a lot of its stories, they really need to look into that. I mean, this is all public record by now.
Yeah.
You know, in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. So I encourage people to look at that. I mean, that really does happen. That's happened. It started, that I know of, in full effect during the Iraq War, but it's continued through today.
Yeah, it kind of you could see it right after the 9/11. It just became more and more blatant. You know, just that there is no investigative journalism. It's just that we take whatever the government story is.
So let me ask you this: there are good investigative journalists out there today. Which ones would you recommend?
I love Seymour Hersh, and I really love Glenn Greenwald too.
Glenn's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Glenn's okay. He his publication, I believe, what was it? I want to say The Intercept, but he created outside of The Guardian a paper for whistleblowers to be able to go through.
Right.
And then that girl that supposedly whistleblowed on supposed Russian meddling. I don't know if you remember that, but that happened a few years ago.
Yeah.
Right after the Trump election. But supposedly they didn't believe her, and then they went to try to verify that she was, the intelligence, and then that's how they busted her. So I somewhat hold Glenn Greenwald accountable to that.
Huh.
And it really bothers me. Like, I've always, ever since that's happened, I've always kind of been like, well, he makes a lot of good points, but take him with a grain of salt. I mean,
Yeah.
he really does make a lot of good points. And
all of them.
He was instrumental on the Snowden, case, which was, that needed to happen. Thank God that happened.
Yeah, that
We'd
was.
still be talking conspiracy theory if he hadn't done that.
Yeah, no, that was incredibly important. And again, that's probably a big part of why I'm a fan of his, I mean, if it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't know a lot of that stuff. Or if he was one of the typical sellouts, we never would have found out that stuff.
Yeah, and that's just, there are a lot of whistleblowers out there, and I encourage those folks to be very careful in what they do, but make your voice heard, because it's got to get out. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on that people don't know about. But what bothers me, though, is that then there are the Edward Snowdens, and then the people attack him, and they call him a traitor.
Yeah.
When he's nothing of the sort. I mean, he used that information as responsibly as he could. And so did The Guardian at the time, by the way. They went through and they did not release information that was going to put people's lives at risk.
Yeah, I think they were doing really good work. I don't know what's happened. I mean, it seems like everything's changed to where it's like you can't even be any kind of an independent voice, from the government anymore. I don't know. It's like wish Seymour Hersh. You never hear from Seymour Hersh anymore, and he does great work. I can't remember what his last thing was, but it's again about the government corruption and they just bury it because the mainstream media is in on the corruption.
I agree with you completely, but it's not a big step when you understand that 6 corporations control more than 90% of all print, radio, and television media.
Right.
And that's not just in the United States. I mean, you go overseas and you start to see it as well.
Yeah.
And it's scary. It really, it's a controlled message. Anybody who does not believe that really needs to look into that, because the thing is you have to understand the difference between opinion bias and facts-based reporting. And you said earlier that there's no investigative journalism anymore. And I agree with that in the mainstream media.
In the mainstream media,
how much they tell us what to think.
And
they don't report the facts.
In the daily stuff that people see, there's none.
What's the Somali representative?
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. If there was ever an example of how the mainstream media is nothing but propaganda, take the comments that she made on Twitter, and then they called her as anti-Semite. But I didn't see one mainstream media news outlet actually report what she actually said.
Right.
And then the Democrats tried to censor her, calling her an anti-Semite, and they had a closed meeting. And then the Democrats came back. Some of them spoke up and said, "Well, that's not calling out Israel's lobby." And I know you talked about this at length. Is not anti-Semitic.
I don't see how that's anti-Semitic. I think it's anti-Semitic to say that, because you're using this really important term that affects all Jewish people for this petty little group because you want to question, what their politics are.
I say this. I tell people there's a difference between being anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist. And Zionist is
I
more
agree.
of the government policy of the state of Israel, and as opposed to being a Jewish religion. And I have nothing against any religion in the world if they, as long as they're tolerant of their common man.
I think they're all equally stupid.
We could definitely debate that. But I agree with you. I agree that all religion can be used for evil. There's no question.
And has been again and again.
And that's my biggest complaint of religion in general, is so much of it is vague.
Yeah.
And that it is subject to interpretation, or at least interpretation of those that are preaching it. And I don't think you have to be a religious person to be a good person. I think most people would agree with that.
Yeah, I think that most people honestly want to be good people, and certainly start off that way. But I think that there's all this programming and the influence of economics, and people just they want. I don't know. There's all this programming on TV that says you want this, you need this, you have to have this for your life, otherwise you're not worthy, and it makes people kind of crazy.
A few years ago, more than a decade ago, I came across a series. It was on PBS. It was called The Philosophy of Happiness.
Yeah.
And if folks get a chance to watch that, I would highly recommend it.
Right
it
on.
kind of talks about part of what you're talking about in terms of people seeking happiness in material items, where they go shopping.
I'm pretty sure I saw that too.
Yeah, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah,
in my opinion, it's still out there. You can actually find it on YouTube.
Right on.
Unless they've taken it down. But The Philosophy of Happiness is what it's called, and I highly recommend people look at that one, because I will tell folks that if you think that happiness is found in going out and buying stuff, or how other people look at you, you will never find happiness. And at the same time, I don't think happiness is the goal. I think there are going to be times in our life, and I'm sure you can agree with this, Michael, where we're going to feel down, or we're going to have suffering, or maybe be angry. The thing that bothers me about today is that not enough people are angry about about what's going on in the world, and they're not doing anything to stop it.
I don't think that they're not angry. I think that they're just not focused in the right direction. They're not focusing their anger in the right direction, and that's.
Are they even aware of what's going on? Because I talk to a lot of people, and they don't even know what's going on because they're so caught up in the rest.
Look, they don't even know why they're angry. That's why it's so easy for people to fucking get them to focus it on in directions it doesn't belong, because they don't even. Again, it comes back to this thing where I keep talking about, is it the people that we're supposed to be trusting to, the people that we're supposed to be turning to for authority, for wisdom, for knowledge? They're all full of shit. And it's been that way for generations, you know, the politicians, the police, the religions, the media is just there to keep us in check, to hold us down, instead of saying, we want you to be all that you can be, you know, and we want you all to come together to make this amazing planet even more amazing. Nobody talks like that. Nothing.
I do think there are people out there like that, but I agree with you completely that the message is controlled in the mainstream. But then the internet happened, and then Fox News happened, and there are other folks out there like you.
Well, that's good to know.
Awareness of what's going on. I do see it. It's just not what I would consider 51%, not even close.
Well, awareness is a tough thing, man, and I'm glad to hear that there's other people out there like me, because you know, and this is the thing, the Blind Melon song video where they're like you know, about the rain, you know, the rain video with the dancing bee girl. You know that video? Where the little dancing bee girl. No, you don't know that. Anyways, there's a little dancing bee girl. It starts off with a girl tap dancing, and she's in a little bee costume, and she's on stage, and she's dancing for these people. And after she finished dancing, everybody laughs at her, and she goes running off stage. And then she goes out and she dances for some other people around the city and these other places, and they all kind of look at her like they don't get her, you know. And then finally, at the end of the video, she winds up in this field, and she sees a whole bunch of bees dancing around in the field, you know, and she goes, my people. And she goes and she dances with all the other bee people. And I really hope that there's somewhere that I get to wind up where I get to go and dance with all the people, because right now I don't see it happening.
Well, just keep dancing, brother. I'm dancing with you.
Yeah. I'm going to keep dancing. Okay. Glad to hear it.
All right. Happy birthday, brother. I'm going to let some other folks talk to you.
All right. Thanks for calling. You guys know that video, the Blind Melon music video? I love that song. Can't think of the song. What's up, caller? How you doing?
Oh, my God. Mike, hey, it's Handsome Truth. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I was really annoyed with the caller. I'm not gonna lie.
Which one?
Well, your last caller. I mean, we talk about deep state. We talk about all these fancy words. I mean, if you look at Amy Goodwin on, I forgot what the name of her broadcast is.
Democracy Now?
Yeah, Democracy Now. She had a Jewish woman come on, and she explained to everyone, anti-Semitism is a trick. We use it all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, these are catchphrases that allow people not to speak their mind. This is part of the Marxist ideology of the politically correct thinking.
Yeah.
Like we have currently hate speech. Oh, don't say anything that could offend anyone. It's hate speech. These are all constructs developed by these people. Now I'm going to keep my language clean because I respect your channel.
Let me just say real quick. You know this word trope that they keep using, this trope, that's an anti-Semitic trope. Nobody in the mainstream media has used that word for the last 40 fucking years. And now all of a sudden, oh, that's a trope. We're supposed to all of a sudden have this like amazing reaction to this word trope. Like it has so much credit. Oh, that's a trope. What the fuck is a trope? Nobody knows what a fucking trope is. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
These are buzzwords created by the Bernays, the Marxists, the Freuds. These guys have been studying the Goyim for centuries, knowing how to manipulate every one of us. And if we aren't aware, based on what their plan is through their Talmud, right, and what it teaches, which is global domination, communism, and I'm really tired of it. If we're really going to break it down, the word Zionist is a word that the media allows us to use because it places it in a political movement. Okay, Judaism at its core, okay, talks about pedophilia, child sacrifice, and treating anyone who is non-Jewish like dirt. So if we're not going to study what they're teaching their people, which is through the Talmud, to hate every Gentile, to treat them like garbage, we are not even close to waking up because we aren't even speaking about the enemy. That's how good their brainwash and manipulation works through their media.
It's really hard to speak out against it because it is so complete and so good, like you're saying. I don't really know the Talmud, is that how you pronounce it? I don't really know that book. So I can't say anything about it, but yeah, it's just this whole, and that's anti-Semitic. I keep talking about it, but I really don't want to talk about that so much today because it's my birthday. So I'm not going to go on about that today.
I totally understand, but there is a bill that's being passed right now. So it's your birthday. Tomorrow, you might not be able to talk about this. The bill is the 336 anti-BDS bill.
Yeah.
And they're going to make it illegal for any of us Americans to speak about what's going on. Okay? I am on my 26th YouTube channel, Handsome Truth 26, because I've been exposing what these people have been doing to our food. Have you heard of the company Cinemax?
No, I'll be right back. You tell everybody about it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, Cinemax is a company, and its main people that run it are of this tribe. Okay, I'll keep it clean. And they're taking aborted fetus cells, and they're using it as food flavoring in your Tostitos and Pepsi products. Okay? These people, this tribe, if you go back in history, you'll notice that they are the ones that are behind birth control, the condom, and abortion. Okay? Birth control, the condom, and abortion. And what they're taking these aborted children and they're using them and they're taking their foreskins and putting them in skin lotions. And then you have celebrities like Sandra Bullock come on Ellen DeGeneres and say, "Oh, how is your skin so fresh?" "Oh, well, I'm using foreskin cream."
Well,
this is how satanic our entire world is.
I think that you're probably right, bro. I think that I haven't heard of that before, and I don't know anything about it, but I think that it seems like to me that the world is very much, at least this elite group, these elite people that are all very, very satanic oriented, and I don't understand. I mean, I guess that's how you get money and power, but I don't. I mean, or that's how you get after you get money and power. I don't know. But whatever.
Well, it's in the Bible, Mike. It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
Jesus says, Revelation 3:9. He doesn't say. He says, "Behold, the synagogue of Satan." He didn't say church. He didn't say mosque. He specifically said the synagogue of Satan, and that's what we are dealing with. We are dealing with people who are pretending they funded the KKK. They infiltrated the Black Panther. They've created this race war in this country. This thing that happened yesterday, they're starting to show that there's some Freemason ties, some elite Jewish ties as well. I mean, if we're not going to call this out, we are doomed. When we are doomed as people, so we can't keep using Marxist ideology, safe space ways of describing who has infiltrated our government, who did 9/11, who did USS Liberty, who is behind abortion, who is behind all of these absolute unhuman things in this country.
Well, I'm glad you called, but that's too much for my birthday. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, happy birthday, and I hope to call in another time. Handsome Truth 26. Please
All right.
check out my channel.
All right.
I'd love to have you on as a guest sometime because
All right.
I really want to help you wake up to this. All right.
Okay. Thanks a bunch for calling. All right. So, as I was saying, it's my birthday today, and apparently no one is donating at all. Okay. So, and whatever, this is about freedom, and I fight for freedom, and I've been fighting a long time for freedom. And if you don't see the value in that, what's up, caller?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is David Goodwine. I was told by Dwayne James to call in.
You were?
Yeah, he said I should call in. Last time you hung up on me, but he said you would be polite this time, so I tried again.
It's my birthday. I can do what I want.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So I wanted to call him to say the last caller is 100% right. The Jews are behind everything.
Okay, I don't want to hang up on you, but look, I don't want to have this discussion on my birthday. Okay?
Well, I learned the Talmud for like 12 years, so
Okay.
like 10 hours a day.
Okay, thanks very much for calling, man. I don't want to talk about Jews. Okay, I don't ever talk about Jews. I don't ever talk about Jews. I talk about the Israeli government. Okay? The Israeli government does horrible crimes against humanity. Okay? I don't care about Jews. Okay? I don't see the world that way. Okay? I don't see Jews as the threat. I see endless wars of profit as the threat. Okay? I see war profiteers as the threat. I see a mainstream media propaganda as the threat. I see politicians who bow down to the rich and keep us from moving forward into the 21st century with a true and real future for your children as the threat. Okay? And I'm not going to boil it down to this group or that group. It's except for the group in Washington, except for the war profiteers, except for the Israeli government that must be held accountable for their crimes, which I don't want to talk about today on my birthday. Okay? I really just came out here hoping that maybe I could get somebody to buy me fucking birthday dinner, and no one has. Hello, caller. How are you today?
Hey, you don't want to talk about Jews. Let's talk about Israel. Fair enough.
I don't want to talk about that. I don't. I mean, can't we talk about...
How about this? It's your birthday. What do you want to talk about?
Freedom. I want to talk about freedom. I want to talk about, how we get freedom back. How we make freedom the thing that we all rally around instead of these fucking bullshit things, like we have to fight for these groups' rights and we have to fight for this group's rights. No, we all have to come together and we have to fight for freedom for everyone. That's all that matters. Anything else is a distraction, and it's meant to divide us.
Okay, now, but I'm saying you say freedom. Now, what does freedom mean to you? Now, at what point do you consider yourself not free? What about you when you're not able to speak about your people? Can you have a people? That's the question, really, because I'm seeing a lot of things in the news lately, and things are being so divisive, and people are starting to resort back and fold into racial lines and stick with their own groups.
This is what I'm saying, is that we have to move, and that's because of the poison of the mainstream media and the government. The government wants you in these little tiny groups because then you're easy to squash. We go after them, we take them out one at a time. First, we take out the right wingers. They're on their way out. You know what I'm saying?
If you're seeing it as a conflict, you see it as a right-left conflict.
No, I see it as this is what I keep saying. I support the side that fights for freedom. Which side is that again? I keep forgetting. Okay, I fight for freedom. I support those who I see fighting for freedom. Those are the people, and I don't see them. I don't see them in the mainstream media. I don't see them in the military. I don't see them. I mean, it's just impossible, man. And what I want to do is I want us to all see that there isn't anyone fighting for our freedom, for your freedom, and that's what we can all come together on, because freedom is something that affects every single individual on the planet. Not your religion, not that person's religion, not hate. You know, we can't all come together and say, oh, there shouldn't be hate in the world. We really can't do that. But we can come together and we can say freedom matters to every single individual on the planet. And we can rally around that and come together and knowing that that's what brings us all together instead of focusing on the shit that divides us.
I mean, it's interesting. Would you consider yourself a civic nationalist?
No, I don't. These labels, and the labels. You have to get beyond the labels. If you can't get beyond the labels, we're never.
I'll be honest with you. As far as the label thing is concerned, like as profound and individual and original that you think your idea is, that label exists out there, but people are afraid to apply it to themselves. Why?
Because then you've defined yourself into a fucking corner. Just like with Republicans and Democrats. Once you're one of those, you painted yourself into a corner and it's impossible to step out of it. Okay? I'm not painting myself into a corner. And your label, you can't pick one that fucking fits me or anybody else unless they buy into the programming. A free person isn't going to be painted into a corner that says, oh, this is who you are. Not by you or not by them or not by anyone else.
I think we're going to disagree there, but I see that as an act of cowardice. You're not to label yourself.
What is an act of cowardice?
Your inability to paint a label on yourself.
That's ridiculous. That's beyond ridiculous. The people who use these fucking labels, they don't even matter anymore. There's no conservatives. There's no real liberals. Okay? They just use that label, they attach it to somebody so they can go, oh, now I can disregard him because he's one of those. That's the whole point of your stinking labels.
Okay, let's say.
Yeah, that's your argument, man. There you go. Good. That's why you're not going to attach a label to me, and neither am I. And if you do that to yourself, you're drinking the Kool-Aid and painting yourself into a corner. Good luck with that.
Kool-Aid. You're the one that's too scared to talk about Jews on your own channel.
Hello, caller. Hello, caller. I guess we lost that one. Hey, look at that. I got a donation. It's from D. Thank you, D. That's really super nice of you, D. D bought dinner for me. Who else is going to? D just kicked down $50. Who else is going to? Who can beat that, huh? Thank you, Dee. Hello, caller. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm pissed off, man. I'm really a little too heated to be on your live show. I left quite a few messages for you. You know, it's people like you to give boomers a bad name.
Oh,
You know,
man.
you want to be a fucking apologist
I got
for fucking Jewish supremacy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's my fucking birthday and we don't have to talk about your bullshit, your petty little bias on my birthday if I don't want to talk about it. Okay? That's the way it works. And I'm not afraid of anything. I don't see people as Jews. Okay? I am not going to attach the fate of all man onto Jews. Okay? It's the rich people. The rich people buy the politicians. The super rich, they buy the politicians. They say, we want things kept just like this. They own the media. They say we want the lies spewed out 24 hours a day is not enough. It's the rich, okay? If you know, if the people who owned Fox, MSNBC, CNN said, we want to tell the truth from now on, they could do that. I mean, I think they probably have to replace most of their news readers, because I don't think that the majority of their news readers are able to tell the truth at this point. Because if you lie perpetually, habitually, long enough, it becomes very difficult to tell the truth from a lie. We're seeing that a lot these days. And I think they would just have to get rid of all their news anchors, basically, in order to begin to start to get the truth. But I think it could be done. But they don't, because they don't want you to get the truth. They don't want us talking about things that matter. They don't want us coming together. They want us divided, because if we come together, then we can decide what we want to do with the world, instead of the rich people deciding what they want to do with the world, which is what's happening now. Okay? And what they want to do is divide us and make wars and make police states and make you believe that everything is bad that they don't want. The police state is good. Oh, we love our police, don't we? And again, I don't hate the police. I don't hate rich people. You don't hear me say I hate rich people. I say I don't like rich people. You don't hear me say I hate the police. Fucking hate the police. I don't hate individuals. Okay? I don't hate individuals. You got even cops. You have to take them one on their own, you know, like oh look, we got another donation. How much is that one? $10, baby. Now we're popping. Okay. So another D. Another D. D-I. Thanks for the $10, man. Okay. So as I was saying, even cops, you got to take them as individuals. But the problem is, once they get in a group, then all bets are off, because they're no longer individuals. They might come over and, you know, act like the good cop, but if they're standing in front of other cops, they are not to be trusted, because they have to make sure that they will have to make sure that you know who's in charge. It's because they can't let their friends see, you know, and them acting like they're not the ones in charge. But again, it's individuals, you know, they're people. I don't see a person and go, oh, he's of this group, or he's of that group, or he's one of them. You know, I don't do that. I see a person who may or may not be a potential friend. In fact, when I walk all day long, I go like this. Hey, how's it going? Beautiful day, huh? Nice day. Because I want to say hi. I want to live in a neighborhood where people say hi to each other. I want to be, you know, I want us all to come together. Can't you hear that? That's what I keep saying. Hello, caller.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm pretty good. Who is this?
My name is Mike. I'm calling from Hawaii.
Hey, Mike. How's Islands doing today?
They're doing great. Thanks for asking. It's a beautiful day.
Aloha.
Aloha to you, brother. I'm a little confused. I'm not being confrontational, but just curious. You're talking about labels, and I think I totally agree with you. But then in the very next caller, you kind of started labeling all wealthy people as the rich, and then you listed characteristics that these people have.
Well, it's not really
kind of like
it's not really characteristics that they have so much as that they control the media, that they control the politicians. It's like when Donald Trump was running for president, he said flat out, I own a couple politicians. The rich people own politicians. Politicians are for sale. And if it's the rich people that own the politicians, then that means it's the rich people that are keeping us in these endless wars of choice. It's the rich people that are keeping us in our infrastructure falling apart. It's the rich people that are keeping our schools underfunded. And when I speak about the rich people, the ones that own the politicians are really the 1/10 of 1%. So it's not like I'm taking a big part of society and labeling them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so you're just kind of being just not all rich. Obviously not. Nobody says all. Excuse me. But so I just get a little apprehensive when I hear, they do this and they do that. I mean, I actually know some very wealthy people, and they're some of the greatest people in the world. And I know that's anecdotal.
I
just wanted to kind of get.
I get invited to a billionaire's Christmas party every year. Okay, so I know wealthy people too, and it's individuals. You have to take people as individuals. The thing is that if what is the obvious facts, which is that the rich people do own the politicians, and it's the politicians that are keeping us in these endless wars of choice, then it's the rich people that's keeping us in these endless wars of choice.
But not all, right? Obviously.
Not all. Again, you have to take them as individuals, but it's more than any other group. I mean, that's where it's got to be where it's coming from, And
well, I agree with that. It's the only place where it could be coming from.
Right.
I totally agree with you there, and I agree with you on a lot of the things you say. And actually, I'm surprised that you took my call, so I appreciate your time, sir. And I don't want to be boring to your listeners.
No. Hey, tell us, what's your name?
Mike.
Mike. Hey, Mike. That's my name too. So you guys have legalized cannabis in Hawaii now, right?
Just medical.
Oh, I thought that they had recreational now too.
Well, nobody told me.
Okay.
I mean, I have that. I have the medical card.
Excellent.
I went ahead and got that. I mean, it's just kind of more of just an inconvenience, and you have to pay $100 and some to get it.
Sure.
But,
no, I've been a medical patient for like 15 years now, so I know it's good. But what are you burning today? OG Kush. OG Kush, huh? Right on.
Yep.
And are you smoking a spliff, or you got you dabbing? What are you doing?
Just different kinds of. Mostly just a small pipe.
Right on. I have.
I have the vapor.
This is my this is my gelato. I just pressed it like an hour ago, so it's very tasty.
Right on. That's. I haven't got too much into edibles and things like that, but
you should definitely eat marijuana. It's the way to go because it keeps it gets plenty of it running through your system, and it gets there's so much more benefits from ingesting all of the herb as opposed to just the little bit that you get from the smoke.
I agree. Actually, that is exactly what the doctor said. And told me about these machines you can buy to make the butter, make it much easier, and all those things. But yeah, no, it's not. I'm surprised. I'm surprised because I'm sure I would have heard about that. But I mean, it's like, yeah, because we talk about that every once in a while. Like, God, it's cool to go to some places just be able to buy it. But no, it's still. I think it's still. You need the card.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you don't need a machine to make butter though. Just get a crock pot. You can do it with a crock pot real easy. There's tons of recipes on the YouTube. I'll actually be doing a special video about making butter here in the next month or so.
Oh, right on. I'll be looking forward to that. I mean, you make it, like, I have friends that mostly like make it out of the shake and stuff like that.
Yeah. Anything will do.
So,
I use a bunch of flours that I probably would never smoke. So.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm going to check into that. What you said, that I'm pretty sure it's not legal.
Well,
nope.
I thought it was. Well, oh well. I was.
Well, you know what? If I'm going to go ahead and take your word for it, and then if the cops stop me, I'll just tell them that you said it was cool. Mike said it was cool.
You say go mess with the Howleys, bro.
All right. Hey, I guess we're pretty much all Howley here. Most of the people that call you, well, that's a joke here. Yeah, if you're a white person, you say, oh, I got a Hawaiian name. And then the person says, oh, what is it? And you say, oh, fucking Howley. That's our Hawaiian name.
It's not just white people though. I thought it was like anybody from the islands.
Well, technically speaking, the word ha, it's ha, H-A, aole. It's aole, which is no. So when Hawaiians used to greet each other, they used to give what they call ha. Ha means breath.
Huh.
And they would I'm sure you've heard this. Yeah, they put their foreheads together and then they inhale each other's like mana spirit. Yeah.
Right on.
And then, so they started calling the people, the missionaries came, and when they come, like the white people come and want to shake hands, stuff like that. And where they got, so they started saying haole, which was, oh, these are people, no breath. So everybody that came had no breath.
Yeah.
That's how they greeted. But now it basically means you're a fucking white racist.
Okay, well then I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to call anybody.
Oh no, it's not. It's funny. I have plenty of Hawaiian friends. They'll sit around, we'll drink, and they'll call a white guy fucking Howley right in front of me, and they'll look at me and go, oh no, not you, bro. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not from here either. I don't think they know what the word means. But like you said, labels.
Yeah, man. It's just used to divide us, really. It's just used to say they're one of those, and we gotta move beyond that and come together and all rally around freedom, because that's all that matters, is that if we're all free, then we can go and have our lives and be happy and not have to worry about having, be under the boot of the police state or whoever else anymore,
Yeah, you're right. I thought that's why I was like, oh, he probably won't even answer the phone. And then I called and I said, I just want to ask because I just want to make sure, kind of where. And I thought that's kind of what you were saying about, not obviously not all rich people, but
it's just
it just kind of stuff.
It's like I said with the cops, you got to take them as individuals, I mean,
right.
But because I grew up with cops and I know that they're all individuals, but the problem is you get more than one of them in a room and then they got this fucking, toxic masculinity shit going on and they got to prove who the real man is, and it's that's just weird.
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, all right. My little daughter just came out here. I have a 11-year-old autistic girl here, so she wants something. I don't know what.
All right, well, go give that girl good loving, man.
I gotta figure out what she wants first. That's hard when she don't talk.
All right.
Okay. All right. Hey, thank you for everything you do, man.
Okay. Thanks very much for calling and keep smiling. All right, bro.
Hey, right on. Aloha.
Aloha. All right. So again, this is it's my birthday.
Press 1 to take this call.
I'm pressing 1. I pressed 1. Hello, caller.
Hello, Michael Knight.
How are you?
This is Dwayne. How are you, buddy?
I knew it was Dwayne. I knew it was. How are you, Dwayne? I'm good.
Great. Happy birthday, brother.
Thanks very much, man.
Yeah. I have one simple question, okay? The Common Show's got freedom. We're talking about not hating individuals, right?
Right.
Now, what happens with the people who want to take your freedom? Shall we hate them?
Well,
Like,
yeah, it's like the person was saying earlier, is saying you're not talking about, doing harm to someone, right? And someone who takes, again, that's what I'm saying. That's why I keep coming back to the rich people, because they're the ones who are taking our freedom. They're the ones who are taking our freedom to go and do wars of choice so that we can and keep us on, keep marijuana illegal and all these things. They're the ones. They own the politicians. Right? So go ahead.
yeah. Well, what about some of the lemmings in the comment section on your vaccine video that you just did?
Well,
where
people are afraid.
You know what I mean?
That's the fear, man. The fear. People are afraid. That's just, and they're afraid by programming. It's done purposefully to them so that they turn to people of authority. Like I keep saying, this is why people are so angry, because we turn to because we don't know what to do. We're worried about our children, and we turn to the people of authority, and they say, this is safe. And it's not. And they know it's not. And they're looking you in the eyes and lying. And that's why people are so angry, because they believe them, and then they get fucked, and then they go, and then who do they have left to believe in? Nobody. No, who do they have left to turn to get real solid advice? Nobody. So, it's go ahead.
Well, like, compared to me and you, Peter Schiff's a rich man, right? But he's not out to take anybody's rights away. But then we're talking about the super rich. I mean,
yeah, I'm talking about the people who buy politicians, man. The people who have politicians in their pocket. That's what I'm talking about when I say the rich.
Yeah, like Merck and GlaxoSmithKline.
Yeah,
they bought off Hillary for the last election.
Right, and a whole lot longer than that too.
Yeah. So, like, it's obviously just the super rich, because, Peter Schiff is a multimillionaire, but he's actually up for giving people more rights. And I actually think health freedom, it has to do with my children, okay? It has to do with marijuana laws, which I know you're totally against, right? So it's all the same thing, because it's CBD oil. Now, I haven't used it yet, but I do think that that's something I should have in my arsenal of things in my home to protect my family against diseases and things like that. So I'm going to get into that. And that's health freedom. And health freedom is to be anti-vaccine as well, where I have this.
Well, I think not to be so much anti-vaccine or to step on what you're saying, but health freedom is for the individual to decide what is important for their family. I believe that's what health freedom is. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, and you're not, the hypocrisy of, okay, I don't want to put certain people out there, but people like who support Beto O'Rourke, okay? Millennial Millie from InfoWars just confronted him at a rally yesterday.
Yeah.
And they went nuts on her for third-term abortions, and he's totally cool with third-term abortions. So we can't force a woman to carry the child to full term, okay? She has the option. You can't, like the whole argument of the pro-choice is my body, my choice, yet the same people who say that say you must vaccinate your children, so it's total hypocrisy on, and I don't want to point anyone out, but look, no matter what, I watch the video of Beto O'Rourke being a total fraud. So,
I don't understand who he appeals to, man.
I don't want to say. I think he appeals to faggots and feminists, honestly.
Huh. I don't really see who he appeals to. He's got some charisma, he's got a nice smile and everything, but he's young. He's got, the young energy spirit thing going on, but I don't, he doesn't seem sincere to me in any way.
No, he's not. He's totally whipped by his rich wife, who's calling all the shots in their house. And he's totally fine with the late-term abortion. Third trimester, abortions too. So, it's really, really tough to navigate these days. I know one thing for sure: we had to pull our children out of the public school because of the healthcare Nazis in our local health unit. We pulled them all out. We weren't vaccinating our kids. I don't care how much. I know that vaccines cause autism. Merck admitted so when it comes to the MMR vaccine. And there's actually, what bugs me is that there's people, especially on that video you did earlier, that
go ahead,
that are saying this absolute crazy stuff that they have a right to, throw us in prison. Wow, that looks like an awesome hit, buddy. That's really awesome. But yeah, like, you hear what I'm saying? And I just wanted to call you up, brother, and wish you a happy birthday. Be on the lookout for a small little envelope that should be in the mail in the next day or two.
Right on.
I mailed it Thursday. Just a little something. And my wife and I, we love you, brother.
Right on.
Keep up the good work.
Tell Jane I said hi. H-I-G-H.
Peace be to you.
Thanks very much. Peace be to you too, Dwayne. It's always nice to hear from you. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Captain Marks, happy birthday.
Hey, thanks very much. Who's this?
This is Joe Pope calling from Arizona.
Right on. Nice to hear from you, Joe.
Yeah, hey, back at you. This is it's also my best buddy's birthday back in Wisconsin. So I know, man, look, a bunch of good people born on this day. So shout out to you, Max.
Right on. Well, it's an odd day. People from this day are kind of different.
Tuesdays always suck for birthdays too. So maybe that's part of the deal.
I'm not. I'm fine, dude. I want to come out here. I want to do this. I want to say hi to people. I want to make something cool happen, and I don't know what to do. I feel like maybe people are tired of me doing the news or something and would rather see me do something else, or I don't know. So I'm trying to add a little more dynamic to it and see, get some input. What do you think? You think I should keep doing news?
Hey, you know what? Man, I'll tell you what. I'm probably the last guy you want to listen to, but this is your deal, your baby, and I think you know it the best. And just kind of let your take a big old toke off of that bee and just think about that, and let that soak in.
That's what I do. Again, I don't know what else to do. This is what I know how to do.
Yeah.
I've reached a ton of people doing this. I'm just trying to do the right thing by everybody, not conservatives, not liberals, everybody. And I don't know, I just like to know, I'd like to move beyond this hump to where I know that this is what I should be doing. Because if it's not, then I want to move on to something else that I should be doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. And that's, the $64,000 question. But,
yeah,
I guess that's kind of, it's, you got a diverse crowd here. And I think everybody likes the diverse thing. I think there's good, I'm not sure about all this facts stuff. I'm not, you said, when your comments to Beto, I don't know what person likes Beto. I really don't either. I don't know who he appeals to. But on the other side of it is, people are looking for something. I don't think people are sure what they're looking for either. I think that's just kind of the sign of the times.
I
It's a
see.
weird time out there.
See, I know who Beto appeals to, right? And this is the way that you figure out who Beto appeals to is you stand him next to Ted Cruz, and you go and you go, oh God, not that guy, and they go Beto, 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 you know. So that's who Beto. Obviously, that's who Beto appeals. That's probably, you know. But to me, he just looks like a younger version of politician. You know, a politician A or B. You know, and
Absolutely.
and yeah, go ahead.
You know what I was going to say. What I get from Beto is almost like the word pseudo, placebo.
It's like,
I'm not sure what's going on there, but you know, the fact of the matter is that guy is, you know, I think he's going to suck up some oxygen in the room just for a little bit, but the more people really get to see what he's out for nobody. I think somebody in your crowd said it, you know, that his wife's family is worth like $20 billion.
Yeah.
And who is that going to speak for? I mean, he cannot relate to the issues. He said he's driving around in a minivan on a listening tour. You know what? You got to be doing an economic damage survey, and you have to really know about what the formula is already, the prescription for, you know, what the hell is going on out there in this country. And all is not well. You know, if this is the best we get and we're still racking up debt, you know, and Trump can say how good the economy is doing, but you know what? That is still rolling hard.
Yeah.
And
no, it's like like you're saying, if this is the best we can do, then we are really selling ourselves short, in my opinion, because I just don't you know, this and I think that's kind of where the politicians are at, is that this is the best we can do. You know, they keep talking about bipartisanship. I remember when Obama was coming in, and they kept talking about how they need to be bipartisan and work together. And I kept thinking, I don't want you fucking criminals working together. I want people calling each other out, saying, you're a motherfucking war profiteer who belongs in prison because you vote to keep these wars going solely to put more money into your pocket, you horrible piece of shit. And instead of doing anything like that, they just fucking, you know, I pressed one, bitch.
Sorry about that. I think my fat ear hung up on you. So sorry about that.
So you know, and that's how they all are. I mean, it's like, it's not that it's one side or the other, you know, it's that I don't want them working together. I want somebody actually working for the people, you know. I want somebody who actually cares about the working man.
Absolutely. And, you know, this is a scam of it, is when they're talking about, you know, one party says to the other, we're going to reach across aisles, we're going to do people's business. You know what? They both have a 16% approval rating. So they're like reaching over into some other toxic camp,
right?
Doing some bull crap, you know, meaningless, you know, nothing but representing corporate interests. The Princeton study, they did a 16-year study, and it was over all the major legislation that has passed. People factor in to the tune of 0. You look at all across the board right now. 85% approval for Medicare for all by Democrats. You're getting 52%. You're getting a 72% across the board. And still, you know, if you're not going to get some sort of Medicare for all or something, you look at legalization. Iowa, it's like 71%. New Hampshire was 69%.
Yeah.
Across the board. You know, I mean, it's just, there's so many popular positions that the people weigh in on, but that Princeton study, it's really, it's kind of a heartbreaker, you know, because we get caught up in our propaganda of like, you know, and I think you were spot on for that labels thing. It is just a way to deliver propaganda in a set of parameters for you to, you know, remain on the inside of. And good God, don't step outside that.
Right. You paint yourself into a corner, man. You say, I'm this or I'm that. And I'm not doing that to myself. And I don't think I fit in. I don't think I fit into a round peg or a square peg any more than anyone else does. I really don't think that's who we are. We're much more complex beings than that. And it's time to recognize that this is a mind fuck that they're doing to us, you know, and to just, and that's why I can't see anything else that we can all just rally around besides the ideal of this freedom thing. And that's why I keep coming back to that, is because it affects, it's the one thing that like affects all of us, that we could all agree on, that affects all of us, you know, if we were just to say, this is our priority. You know, everyone's freedom, not my freedom, everyone. And none of you politicians are about that in any way, shape, or form. They see our freedom as a threat that must be fucking maintained, contained, babysat in some way.
Yeah, and doled out sparingly.
Right,
and,
right. Well, like you're saying, like you're saying, like all these people want legalization, and then they dole it out in just the small. We'll take this baby step that right direction. We'll take, like in Canada, they legalize, and then they say, but you can't have edibles. We're not going to let you have edibles. You know, it's ridiculous, insane. Go ahead.
It is. It's very controlled. You know, you look at the corporate control in this country, and all politics is organized by them. The people can hate AOC, they can like AOC, but one thing she did do is talk about her first day as a freshman congressional person getting in there, and they had like literally these CEOs from Wall Street telling them the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
On how, you know, just literally handing down marching orders.
Yeah.
It didn't look good, and it doesn't look good, and it just pitches back into that 16% approval rating for Congress, and you go right to the news organizations, the big legacy old systems news outlets, and they're the same thing. All their contributors are, you know, Lockheed Martin and, you know, just computer crap and healthcare systems. And they're all old systems that, you know, I think that's what we're in the middle of, is a new cusp between old systems and us all realizing that, saying those old systems suck, you know, and they're not acceptable anymore. We need new systems. And they're like saying, oh, hell no, not under my watch. We got the old system, and it's here to stay. And I think there's a classic, epic battle going on right now. And, you know, I don't know. I mean,
so what are the sides of the battle that you see?
Oh, definitely. Corporate control and oligarch control, meeting people who are going bankrupt every single day due to, you know, really a minor medical thing can bankrupt you. I was just hearing it's people collecting millionaires who are going broke, and you can see it when they have like this one person had their medicine cost $300,000 a year, and they're hanging on a thread because, man, you can get denied for, you know, farting or looking sideways or whatever, you know, just on their whim. And but you could see how $300,000 a year could really eat up if you're a millionaire. It's going to go there pretty darn quick.
Yeah. No, when I say rich people, you know, I'm not talking about people who have $20 million or whatever. You know, I mean, they don't have to worry about shit. I don't think so much like us, like the working class. But a lot of those people actually did earn their money. You know what I mean? It's not like it got given to them like Donald Trump. You know.
Yeah. Donald Trump was given $400 million when his dad passed on them, or took out a loan. It's one of those deals. But you know, at the end of the day, it's not about any individual person. And you know, that's what we got to separate. It's kind of like when somebody says, hey, you know what, we should probably, kind of start taking steps in the environmental. If we keep collapsing, I don't know what they say, 60% of I don't know, the life or these animals or whatever have died since 1970 or something like that. That's a freaky statistics, and the dead zones of the oceans. And,
it's actually, it should be described as a genocide, because it's because of one species who's killing them all, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the discussion that we're not having. We're having this idiotic discussion about whether or not the climate is changing, when we should be having this discussion about how much we pollute, and how we want to change how much we pollute, and what is the most important way that we change how much we pollute right now. And instead of, how we tax our way out of this, because that's fucking idiotic. You just have to change. It has to be different. We're the fucking big brain. Why is NASA talking about a fucking man? They don't need to spend any time on fucking man missions to Mars, okay? We need to fix what's fucked up on this planet before we go fuck up another planet. Nobody's going to let us off this planet. If there are any other races out there that are able to travel to the Earth and observe us, they're not letting us off this planet. There's no fucking way till we get our shit together. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, I feel the same cynicism. But my point was, what I was going to finish by saying is new systems and individual people, those stories always suck, because, you can sit here and say, oh my God, Al Gore flies around on a jet. He has 3 incandescent bulbs in his garage. He's busted. Doing anything about it. But, I get it. Al Gore is the biggest, it could be said that he's a big Dick Cheney, at the end of the world, or at the end of the day, who cares? It's not about Al Gore. It's not about the Koch brothers. It's about the systems that these guys build and serve themselves under and make you live under. And it's about building a new system that doesn't, favor Al Gore, doesn't favor the Koch brothers, and it favors normal people, because at the end of the day, we're going to be stuck with this.
It's not us who's going to be stuck with it. It's the upcoming people. It needs to favor the people that are coming after us, is what it really needs to favor. We need to build something that's worthy of them to spend their time in, because otherwise, what good are we? We're just some fucking people who used up our time fucking talking on the fucking phone all goddamn day. Yeah, that's great, and making so much fucking difference. What's that?
We're solving shit, aren't we?
I wish it was. I just want us to see what needs to happen, which is, first we need to recognize the real enemy, and it ain't ISIS, and then we have to come together and boot that motherfucking enemy out. And that's going to be the biggest, war there ever was.
When we get money out of politics and we do public financed elections to where everybody has the same amount, and you got to work with what you got, and chop these time levels down. And
how is it that right doesn't make sense to people? I mean, why is that not a law right now?
Because they're under the
because the rich people own the politicians.
Equals money, but you can't pay your phone bill with free speech. Now they can say, yeah, you can monetize it and get out there and start your talk show. No. This has to be common application across the board. You cannot pay, with
buying a politician.
Not everybody has a monetized.
Is not free.
Everybody has a monetized voice.
Buying a politician, giving a politician money is not free speech. You know,
No, it is not.
and it should be exactly what you're saying. It should be every politician has this amount of money in this race. They have this amount of money in this race. They have this amount of money because advertising costs more over here than it does over here. You know what I'm saying? And they all equal then, and they can all go forward and do their little politician thing. And at the end of the race, we get any extra money back. And if you fucked around with any of the money, you're going to jail.
Yeah. You know, the other thing is that you know, TV commercial rates. They have FEC. You know, they could be donating some time to the process of what this is.
Right,
and,
I agree.
Yeah,
they don't need to. They don't. Those motherfuckers don't need to make money off of our elections, which they fuck with to no end.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, look at Hillary Clinton. She bought the DNC, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
you know,
and
took
CNN
it private. Literally did a private equity buyout of the DNC.
It's insane.
Yeah, you know, she saddled it with debt, and like Donna Brazil said, every financial decision she made got rerouted through Hillary's Brooklyn offices. And you don't hear jack squat about that. You know, in fact, Donna Brazil just got hired by, guess who? Fox News. Oh my God, run the presses. It's crazy.
Why on earth would the liberal, I mean, the conservative, the what are they again? Hire Donna Brazil. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think they're closer than anybody. I think they are really one of the same hats. You know, and at the end of the day,
two sides of the same coin, man. Two sides of the same coin.
Being hired by.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, well, I was just gonna say, you know, there when Fox News has no problem hiring them, it's like MSNBC. You look at most of the people they hire, they're all Fox rejects, you know, and you get a lot of just a bunch of right wingers on there.
Tucker Carlson, they're you know right wing autism boy. He goes in there. He started off on CNN, then he moved to MSNBC, and now he's at Fox.
Right.
Okay, so if these people were who they say they are, with this staunch conservative, who all those people over on that other network are just like the worst people in the world. Although I used to work with a bunch of them, I mean,
right.
It's just a lie. There's nothing about it that's fucking real or for the people, and this is why people are so angry, and they don't even know this is why they're angry. Because they just continue to turn to these people, and it's like, and they're all lying, and they know it's a lie, and they're angry about it, and it's like, oh my God. And that's why I'm not angry at anybody. I don't hold this, when they say, oh, he's a Trump voter or she's a Hillary voter, you know what? It's fucking turd sandwich or giant douche. Okay. Of course they voted for the giant douche. Who the fuck wants a turd sandwich? Come on.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But when it gets real though is when they got to do like a kind of like a capital call, and they look at Jeanine Pirro and they're going, wow, holy jeez, man, we're seeing I don't know, commercial subscribers or whatever you call them, clients, I guess, commercial clients who are
sponsors
with Fox News. Yeah, sponsors. Thank you. Yeah, and they're like, wow, we got to cut Jeanine Pirro loose, but it's off of their main formula of the same thing that they promote, but it's what kills them, and that's why the conservatives could reinvent themselves. They have to, as the Democrats are having to reinvent themselves, because they're not serving anybody. And the old immigration things and building walls and all that fake shit that it's just they're faking it.
It's going to be 20. Even if Donald Trump gets his funding tomorrow, it's going to be 25 years before the fucking wall is done, man. Anybody?
Yeah, it ain't about a wall.
Yeah.
If it were about a wall, he would have did it in the first 2 years of his administration when he had, majorities in the House, majorities in the Senate, and him at the executive branch, and 6 out of 9 justices. this isn't about this. This is about blowing smoke up a nation's ass and
keeping them right where they're at.
And at the end of the day, yeah, there is nobody. He didn't do dick on health care. Okay, when he said we're going to give you better health care, we're going to give you lower premiums, we're going to give you better coverage. He talked about doing like a Medicare style, thing. When he met with the Australian Prime Minister, he goes, "Yeah, you guys got better health care, but right now we're in a different place. I don't think we could do that." But not when you're cutting it. Hell, this next budget that he just pushed through has got massive cuts to Social Security, massive cuts to Medicare, massive cuts to SNAP programs, and people out there can say, "Good, get off your ass, go get a job." But at the end of the day, when you got no industrial trade policy, we don't have. We are running horrible trade deficits.
Get out there and get a job. Social Security cuts. You want 70-year-old people getting a job? How is that?
Absolutely. Well, not only that, you look at the people who went back to school when in the 2008-2009 collapse. They went back to school because they lost their job and they racked up a bunch of school debt, and that's how you can be in your 60s and 70s if you came back student debt because of all these boom bust fake economic cycles that we keep going through. And at the end of the day, man, this is the roosters have come home, and this is why it's not Bernie Sanders' hair or his suits he wears or the way he moves his arms. It's that he's actually showing you what it looks like for coming up with solutions for people, and they're going, "Oh my God, that's socialism." No, capitalism has failed. Half of this country they make $30,000 a year or less. They don't have enough capital to participate in capitalism.
Yeah.
And to sit around like a bunch of douchebags and just talk about pull yourself up by your bootstraps, knowing goddamn well that they sent the goddamn boots and the bootstraps to China. We traded them off in some trade deal, It's part of the deal that 60,000 manufacturing companies went over to China. What the hell were we talking about when we saw that wealth transfer go over there? And then we replaced them with, hey, you need a job, go to the dollar store.
Yeah.
And then you could talk about have thinking spells when it's about people bitching about $15 an hour, but, never taking a look at if we got, Walmart is the biggest employer in this country.
Huh.
You know that the average worker at Walmart works 29 hours. That's so that they don't have to qualify for Obamacare. And I mean, everything's got this out so that nobody goes in and nothing gets fixed. Everything is just pretty jacked up. And so we failed.
That seems like the whole point of the government is kind of just to keep things the way they are.
Absolutely. And then run on before, up until this, it was always, talking about, now it's immigration, but before it was, I remember I'm 53. So I remember them transitioning and saying, I now support gay people.
Obama did that.
Research this and then I've come to a new.
Obama did that. Obama, when he ran for president in 2008, was against gay marriage. He was for civil unions. But he was against gay marriage. And then he evolved on the subject, which means he was a fucking gatekeeper to all of you gay people. He was like equal but separate. That's who Obama was until he had no other choice politically, which means he held you off for as long as he could. And then he went, "Oh, look, I've evolved. I'm on your side now. Come embrace me." And you all did. Fuck.
Those are the social issues, though, that, like you were saying, that they used to divide us. And then Hillary came, even that was 2011 that Obama had this change of mind and came out of the closet himself. And then Hillary Clinton came out in 2013. That's how late to the party that shit was.
They're not
But,
about
what I'm
freedom.
saying
This is
that
why I keep saying it's both parties. It's not the Democrats.
It
It's
is.
not the Republicans. They've worked together to bring us to this fuck up that we're in now. And if we don't
Absolutely.
fucking get just clean house. I mean, I want to see Washington D.C. fucking burnt to the ground, but you know that's just me. I don't think most people want that. So you know,
No.
but I want to see something new. I want it new. I want it.
Yeah.
You know, I really want to see Democrats and Republican Party banished from American politics. No more Democrats, no more Republicans. Those parties are not allowed. Then I think we actually could start with a little bit of freshness.
Well, I think there's something to that, and but I also think that there is. You're probably likely to see things get worse before they get better. I think these are going to be the last cycles that we'll see. That will get worse, but people are hot onto this shit. Where, just the internet is. I think somebody said it here on one of your callers before, but the internet happens, and it's this breakaway feature from all the BS that we hear on the old legacy news, and that's straight propaganda from State Department stuff, and those who are in.
It's just programming. They're just they're trying so hard to just make who the evil people are. You need to know the evil people, and it's not us. And you need to know that they're the reefer. If you smoke cannabis, you're going to get the reefer madness, and we can't have people running around with the reefer madness.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, you know what? I sure do appreciate you, and happy birthday, and just shout out to all the crew out there.
Right on.
You guys are a neat crowd, and hey, man, keep rocking and keep doing what you do.
Right on. Thanks very much for calling. It's nice talking to you.
Peace, brother.
See ya. All right. So again, and this is you guys are smart. You guys are well informed. You guys know a lot of stuff, and that's what I keep saying. You guys are what really gives Mox News value, is that there's so many smart people here, so many well-informed people here, that I can just put up the beginning of what's happening, and then you guys complete it. You guys actually, through your getting information from so many different directions and places, you're able to make the garble, which is the mainstream media, into clarity for people that they've never actually had before. And that's the magic of Mox News, is that we help people gain clarity that they've never had before, and that they may never have even actually been able to experience if it wasn't for all of us here making this happen. And I'm afraid that if I'm not here, that a lot of people won't gain clarity. So that's why I want to be here. I want to do this for the 2020 election. Plus, the 2020 election is just going to be fascinating. It's going to be, I think it's going to be really eye-opening. And it may be this thing that does allow us to be able to move beyond all of our own personal biases and rally around an ideal like freedom. And see that who the real enemy is finally, and hopefully it won't be too late then. So anyways, it's my birthday today. Only two people kicked down for birthday dinner. Is David. David kicked down for birthday dinner. Thanks, David. And Duncan, you're the man, brother. So thanks to those guys for birthday dinner, and it's not just about birthday dinner. It's my birthday today. March 19th is my birthday, but it's not really about birthday dinner. It's about Mox News being here into the presidential election, into the 2020 presidential election, and possibly beyond, because it may be fascinating what happens after then too. And you may want somebody here in place fighting for your freedom, fighting for the world's awareness, fighting to bring us all together, to move beyond our own personal biases so that we can make happen a future that's worthy of the people we leave behind. A future that's worthy of us being remembered in a positive light. Anyways, I've done my work. I could walk away now and be good. So you know, I've done more than my share. But I don't want to if it's not necessary. Because I feel that it would be a loss to the community. And if I really didn't feel that way, if I thought that I could walk away and it wouldn't make the slightest difference in the community, in the awareness that is brought about by the community, then I'd just walk away. But I'm certain that it would be a loss to the community. And again, that may be some delusion that I have, but I'd really like to get beyond that delusion and know that you feel that too. And the only way I can really know that is for you to support Mox News, you to support the effort that has been made here. This isn't a fly-by-night operation. I've been doing this for 15 years on YouTube, 65,000 plus videos. There's more than 9,100 videos on this one Mox News page. Imagine how long it would take for you to post 9,100 videos that you captured that you found through your daily cruising through 40 hours of news and captured to your computer and then edited so the sound is right and they started where you wanted and finished where you wanted, and then uploaded it and then published it, some of them being 3 and 4 hour long videos. 9,100 plus on this one Mox News YouTube page. Imagine how long that would take you. Taken me tens of thousands of hours. And I do it because it's what I know how to do and what I know makes a difference in the world. And if you can see that it does make a difference in the world and that it would be a loss to the community, I hope you'll take a minute and please give something back. Thanks very much for your time this evening. It is wonderful spending a minute with you on my birthday. Stay cool. One of these days this war is going to end. There's clickable links below this video, or you can go to moxnews.com and it will take like 2 minutes to give something back. Okay? Thanks very much. Till that day.